Do we know if that camera's...
Not yet. CWHL Live, empowered by Hilberg and Burke, is brought to you in part by
I wore these gloves.
Scotiabank,
Held this stick. Well, these skates carried me over the blue line. We won the championship. And now, it's all yours. Cool. Oh, and this mouth guard. I'll get my own. Thanks.
The 5th season is when spirit for the game gets passed down. That's why we're proud to support over 5,000 teams.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the sounds of Etienne Martin in Montreal and CWHL Live, empowered by Hilberg and Burke. John Bauer, Robin Flynn, back for another season of CWHL action here in Montreal. Robin, welcome back for another season.
So excited to be back, John. It's always a pleasure to be up in the broadcast booth with you, and excited for another amazing season of Canadiennes hockey. We're already 2 games into the season. I'm excited to start it up at home.
The Canadiens won their first 2 games of the season in Brampton. Toronto won their first 2 games of the campaign, their opponent this evening against Boston. And this year, we're proud to welcome on board our new presenting sponsors who are empowering us, Hilberg and Burke, who have been great partners with female sport over the last couple of years. And Robin, you've got a great little anecdote about Hilberg and Burke.
Yeah, if you were following Natalie Spooner on Twitter this summer, which is always a good thing to do. If you're not already following Spoons on Twitter, what are you doing? You'll notice that she was tweeting pictures of herself wearing these red sparkle ball earrings. These were exclusive for Team Canada, and they've been visible from the likes of Natalie Spooner and the rest of the women that play for Team Canada, not just for the hockey team, but the Paralympic and Olympic medalists, even as recent as the Rio Olympic Games. We're wearing these red sparkle ball earrings, which is really cool, and that's part of our new sponsor, which is a lot of fun. They're a longtime supporter and champion of Canada's incredible female athletes, not just on the ice, but in other areas as well.
And they will be bringing us the free coverage of the CWHL this year on CWHLlive.com. Robin, let's turn our attention to the team that is being introduced now on the ice, player by player, the Canadiennes de Montreal. Last year, they defeated Toronto in the best 2 out of 3 semifinal series in the Clarkson Cup playoffs, winning 2-0 before falling in the Clarkson Cup championship game to the Calgary Inferno. What do you expect from the Montreal side this season?
Oh, I think that they're going to have another season like they did last year, where offense is certainly going to be their forte. They haven't really made any subtractions up front, only additions. Bringing in Sarah LaFleur out of Boston University, she broke Marie-Philip Poulin's scoring record by 2 points at BU. And that is going to be an excellent addition to their offense. She's actually going to be playing on Pou's line tonight. She was playing on the second line with Katia Clément-Hadra and Carolyn Ouellette last weekend in the opener against the Thunder. But tonight she'll move up to the first and play with Bethea and Marie-Philip Poulin. Kim Deschênes will move down to the second line with Ouellette and Hadra.
A lot of great draft picks coming into the league this year. On the Toronto side, who are some of the key additions for the Furies?
Well, one of the big additions that they made was on the back end. So they have the 2 sort of Canadian defense pairing in Renata Fast and Erin Ambrose. Those are girls that you're going to be seeing playing for Team Canada. They're going to be a significant part of this country's future on the ice. Up front, they added Michaela Cava, Vanessa Spataro, Erin Zach, and Jenna Dingledine, who just might have the best name in the CWHL. And announcements for both of these 2 teams this summer, with new captains being named. On Toronto's side, Natalie Spooner, very well deserved. She's the league's leading scorer right now after 2 games with 6 points already. And Marie-Philip Poulin, who's right hot on her tails with 5, was named captain of the Canadiennes this summer.
And that's an obvious choice as we look to the future of this program. That's not to say that Cathy Chartrand is certainly a slouch. She was fantastic as the second only captain in this franchise's history, taking over from Lisa Marie Breton-Lebreu, who is now an assistant coach with Les Canadiennes. But it was the time for her to pass the torch on to Marie-Philip.
Yeah, I was actually speaking with Canadienne General Manager Meg Hewings about not just the depth that they have up front and on the back end now with all the draft picks they added in Cassandra Poudrier and Brittany Fouracres, having that defensive depth that allows them to move Carol Lamard up front, but they also have leadership depth. They have so many people capable of leading this team, and having Kathy Chartrand sort of no longer in that captain position doesn't mean she's not still a leader in that room.
And we're starting to see some younger players take more of a leadership role. We just saw Julie Chu come onto the ice just before Anne-Sophie Berthet, and now the captain, Marie-Philippe Poulin. But Julie Chu is transitioning into her post-playing career as she was named the head coach of the Concordia University Stingers in the off-season. There's several other teammates, including Caroline Ouellette, who's coaching with her. Carole Aymar as well are coaching with the Stingers. Noémie Marin is already coaching Team Quebec. She's in the Canadian national team coaching pool as well as in the CJEPS League here in Quebec. So we are starting to see some of the older players move on to their post-playing career. While transitioning out, they're providing leadership to this new cuvée of CWHL players.
Yeah, that handing off of the torch has been really seamless. Julie Chu is actually going to play in her first game of the season. She didn't play last weekend, so it's really exciting to have her back. But, you know, these guys have to think about that next step. Caroline Ouellette has already started coaching. She has her hockey camps every summer. Charlene Labonte, I don't think that she's going anywhere until she wins the Clarkson Cup. She's made 3 straight appearances, lost in all 3, and it's the only thing she's missing. She has CIS championships, Olympic gold medals, world championships, and you can just see the fire in her eyes. Every time I talk to her about that Clarkson Cup, especially the way it went down last year with that 8-3 loss to the Calgary Inferno, no one saw that coming. Calgary were the underdogs, and everyone expected Montreal to win. And I know Charlie beats herself up for the way she played in that game. She feels that it was her fault. She didn't do her job. I think a lot of girls on the ice didn't do their job that night, and Calgary was definitely the better team. But, you know, I'm nervous if Canadiennes win the Clarkson Cup this year that we could soon be losing Charlie as well.
It's entirely possible, but that is one of the things that is great about the league is that the young players coming up behind the stars of the league right now are the ones that are going to have the bright future for us. Last week, as we mentioned, Montreal beat Brampton 5-2 and then 3-2 on Sunday afternoon. Toronto was taken to overtime by Boston before winning 2-1 last Saturday night. Then on Sunday, they won 6-1. And in the first 2 games of the season, 2 weeks ago, Calgary beat Brampton by identical 3-2 scores out in Calgary as they hoisted their championship banner to the rafters of Winsport.
You know, you mentioned Toronto and Boston going to overtime last season. Wow, did Boston ever improve in the offseason. They already look so much stronger than they did last year. Of course, they finished last place last season. Bit of a difficult start to the season for them, but I think that the competitiveness that we're going to see from them is going to be extraordinary. Krista Petronic, who's their general manager, is doing such an outstanding job with the Blades. Don't discount them in hockey games. As you see, they took Toronto to overtime last weekend.
So early in the season, Calgary, Montreal, and Toronto all tied with 2 points atop the standings, 4 points each. They are in first place, but we are very, very, very early into the campaign as we enter week number 3 of the season. Today it is Toronto and Montreal in a rematch of last year's Clarkson Cup semifinal series. A close for opening game, but then Montreal really took control in the second game, blowing Toronto out in that nationally televised game.
That second game actually had my favorite moment of the CWHL season last year when Julie Chu arrived a little bit late because she was busy coaching a Concordia game. Her parents drove her to the rink in Brossard. She changed into her gear in the back seat, skated into the ice about 8 minutes into the first period, and scored a hat trick. They ended up taking away one of her goals and giving it to Caroline Ouellette, but I still like to tell the story that Julie Chu came in late and scored a hat trick in the game that ultimately decided their fate to send them to the Clarkson Cup.
Now, the funniest part about that, Julie said to me on the Monday after, that was just like when I was 8 years old, dressing in the back of the car on my way to hockey.
With my dad driving me to the rink. Exactly.
So there's some great stories and more to come this season as the Canadiennes get set to drop the puck on the home opener. Their 10th home opener here as we celebrate a decade of excellence in the CWHL. And we are glad that you have chosen to be a part of it wherever you are this evening watching us on CWHL Live.
I had a chance to speak with the commissioner, Brenda Andrus, a couple of weeks ago about some of the things that they have planned for this season. And one of those things that she has planned are heritage games for the season, which is really, really awesome. Each team is going to host a heritage game in their city, and that's going to be a big part of this decade-long celebration.
We're now going to pause for the singing of the national anthem. Alyssa Donay will be interpreting it this evening. Les Canadiennes de Montreal and the Toronto Furies in the home opener for Les Glorieuses here in Montreal this evening. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to CWHL Live, empowered by Hillberg & Burke. Proud presenting sponsors of the CWHL Live broadcast this season. So, Robin Flynn, let's turn our attention to the game on the ice this evening. What are some of the keys in today's game?
Well, one of the keys for Toronto will be to shut down Montreal's offense. When you have a line that consists of Anne-Sophie Bété, Marie-Philippe Poulin, and Sarah Lafleur, you know, that's really hard to shut down in and of itself. But then you have a second line that has Caroline Ouellette, Kim Deschênes, and Rookie of the Year nominee Katia Clément-Hedra from last season. So what they're going to want to do is focus on that top six. That is going to be the key for Toronto. I think Montreal's key is going to be to score early. Christina Kessler tends to give up goals early in hockey games, so if they're able to get one past her quick, might get her rattled enough that they can get a quick jump on her.
Kessler 1-0 on the campaign, a 0.94 GAA and a 9.38 save percentage. She's turned aside 15 of the 16 shots that she's faced, and for the Canadiennes, it will be Charlene Labonte between the pipes this evening.
It's so good to see Charlie in nets. I think that it adds a lot of comfort for the players when they were there. She did struggle with injury a little bit last season. They were still able to win hockey games, thankfully, but Charlene Labonte definitely provides that leadership that we were talking about, that depth, that leadership for this team. When they know that she's in the crease, they don't have to worry, even if they make a mistake, that there's not going to be a big issue. There shouldn't be too many mistakes, though, because they've improved so much at defense by adding those two rookies that I talked about, Cassandra Poudrier and Brittany Fouracres out of McGill and Cornell. I think that's going to make their blue line so difficult to compete against.
Poulain, Lafleur, and Bété up front for the Canadiens. Chartrand and Chu on the back end as we are underway. Glad you're along with us in the home opener of the 2016-17 season. Off of the opening faceoff, the Canadiens penetrate into the offensive zone. Chartrand on the left point, plays it back in behind the goal. Ambrose there, battling with Poulain. Lafleur comes up with a puck, backhand pass, intercepted there by Spooner in the right wing faceoff circle in the D zone. She skates at the line, but she's sealed off by Chartrand, and then Cava will play it down the ice. Toronto going for a quick change on the back end as Julie Chu plays the puck ahead to Lafleur, curling at center ice, now up the right wing side. She skates it in around Ambrose, but loses the handle on the puck. And going back to play it for the Furies is Carly Campbell. Up the right wing side for Spooner at center. Dumps it in, goes after the puck, gets around Poudrier, and Spooner has it at the right wing hash marks. Battling along the boards there with Caroline Ouellette and Laurent Rougeau. Now the puck comes free. Toronto had it, but a centering pass was broken up there by Poudrier, and Ouellette has it behind her own net. Just over a minute into the hockey game, no score. As Clément-Hedra goes up the middle, give and go with Rougeau. Deschênes right side, tries to snap a shot in on goal, but Saunders got in her way, and the puck rolls harmlessly over to the far boards. Ouellette will hammer it off of the glass, and it rolls over to the near side, where it will be Campbell playing it up to the blue line, intercepted by Willette. She dumps it back in, and Montreal goes for a line change. Saunders gives it to Campbell. Campbell ahead on the right side for Terry. And Terry skates it to center. Fulton had it for a moment, but Karel Emar has it for Montreal in on the right wing side. Centering pass, Blais. Snapshot! Kessler with the save. The big rebound comes over to the left wing side, where it will be settled down by Noémie Marin. She curls over to the right wing side. To the hash mark she goes. Takes it into the corner. Leaves it there for Emar. The centering pass for Blais. And that is broken up as Fulton will backhand it to the line, kept in by Fouracres. The former Martlet will play it behind the goal. Saunders up the far side, pinching in from the right point position with Sophie Bro. Blais has it, but the puck is knocked off of her stick there by Campbell, who's been out there for a long time, as Toronto will now go for a line change as Blais brings it up on the left wing side. Blais into the offensive zone, now curls back into neutral ice. Cross ice pass for Poulin. She'll bring it over to the near boards and skate it into the offensive zone. Poulin looking, dropping it back for Bette, and the puck rolls off her stick, and Chu has to settle it down at center ice. 2 minutes and 40 seconds gone by in the opening 20. No score in the game. Still looking for our first scoring chance of the game as Bette brings it in on the right wing side. Backhand into the offensive zone. Ambrose back to play it. She's now been out twice against this top line for Les Canadiennes. As Fast plays it up the far boards, kept in by Chu at the right point position. She'll feather it back in behind the goal. Ambrose on the near side. Swings it up the boards to Spooner, and she will skate it out to center. Spooner up the right wing side for Kowenchuk. Kowenchuk in, late penalty coming up to Les Canadiennes as Toronto still maintains possession in the neutral ice. Spooner plays it over to the near boards. Toronto gets a reset here, 6-on-5. Drop pass back into her own zone for Ambrose. She settles the disc down. Dangerous place to be in front of an empty net. She'll go give it to Terry on the right wing side. Terry into the offensive zone. Plays it in deep. Chu goes to the wall. And now Montreal will touch the puck and get the first penalty kill of the hockey game.
Montreal had the best penalty kill in the league last season. Special teams is another one of their strengths. It's kind of hard to pick even just one strength for Les Canadiennes because they also had the best power play. But killing penalties is something that they are very, very good at. They have Caroline Willette out there, who is one of the most experienced special teams player probably in the world. So she's out there, and she will be on the wing for this penalty kill just to the left of Charlene Labonte.
Cathy Chartrand gets the gate. Toronto 1 for 7 on the campaign, 14.3% on the power play. Montreal on the penalty kill. They are 8 of 9 on the campaign, just under 90% efficiency on the kill. Marin takes the draw to the left of Labonte. Toronto control. Shannon Molson with it. Dishes off right side for Terry. Down low. Fulton walks out in front, takes a snap shot, or tries to snap it on goal, and it rolls across the face of the goal. Puck bounces out in front as Molson pinches, plays it back down low into the right wing corner for Emily Fulton. Battling there with Cassandra Poudrier. The Canadiens will lock it up there, and Marin will snap it down the ice up the left wing boards, and that will allow the Canadiens to get a line change here.
What's interesting is you see the line coming out now, Anne-Sophie Bette and Marie-Philippe Poulin. Not only can they score, but they are excellent on the back check.
Cava stood up at the blue line, and Montreal will send the Furies back into their own zone. Molson sets up shop behind her own goal. Now starts the rush right up the middle of the rink. Dishes to Fast, right wing side. She has Spooner flanked on her right, and she will give it to her in the right wing corner. Poulin giving chase with Spooner. The puck pops free as Julie Chu takes Spooner to the wall. 59 seconds to go in this power play for Toronto. Spooner and Kowenchuk in the corner. Kowenchuk comes up with it. Bro gets the hook out on her as Kowenchuk backhands it towards the goal. Chu will play it to the far half boards, and it's Bette now out to center with Poulin. 2-on-2. Poulin goes wide. Left side. Now cuts inside. Poulin towards the goal. Passes a backhander over to Bette, and the puck was just in behind her, or else she had a glorious chance to bury it. Now Spooner on the counterattack on the right side for Toronto. Into the corner she goes. Puts the brakes on as she's battling with Poudrier. Poudrier steals the puck from her, clears it up to the half boards. Fast keeps it in. Fast, left side for Ambrose. Ambrose will now skate over to the right point position. Dishes to Fast. She fans on the slap shot. The puck goes into the far corner for Rougeau. 14 seconds to go, and the penalty to Chartrand. Here's Fast. Backhand pass off the boards. Settled down there by Prévost. Prévost to Fast. Right point now for Ambrose. Ambrose, wrist shot through traffic. Knocked aside by Poudrier. Over to the near board. She'll hammer it down the wall. And that will do it for the PK for Les Canadiennes.
Really liked what you saw from Marie-Philippe Poulin there. There was a moment where there was a loose puck. She could have grabbed it and skated it out, but that knowing that you need to just hang back and wait it out. You're just a couple seconds away. That was a really smart move.
Here's a steal by Deschênes as she took the puck off of the stick of Kessler, but nothing comes out of that as she plays it back to the blue line, and Fulton got it out to center ice for Toronto. 4 acres just inside her blue line. Goes right side for Deschênes. Kiss pass up the middle for Ouellette. Intercepted. Prévost gives it to Fulton. Wrist shot. Scores!
Wow, Emily Fulton with that wrister that went top corner. Charlene Labonte had no shot on that one. That was top bar, down and in.
That was a rocket just under the crossbar. A wrister that nobody was expecting.
You know, what's one interesting thing that often doesn't get talked about isn't just the fact that a power play can give you a chance to score with the man advantage, but the momentum that can generate afterwards. Even though you don't score with that extra attacker on the ice, you can still score afterwards. It doesn't get counted in your special team stats, but it's still really huge, and Toronto was able to capitalize on it. We're looking at a 1-0 hockey game with just under 14 minutes to play in the first.
Fulton's first goal of the campaign coming at 6:11 of the first period. Zach plays it ahead of the blue line where it's knocked down by Cathy Chartrand. She'll play it over to the near side, and it's tipped ahead at the center by Jordana Peroff. Campbell goes back to play it, and it will be an icing charge against the Canadiennes.
I still can't get over the way that Charlie was seemingly a little bit out of position. That's not something that we see from Charlene Labonte very often. She's somebody who's really solid and really focuses on the specifics. She knows exactly where to be in the blue paint at all times. And at that moment, I don't think she knew where that shot was coming from. And as you saw, it worked out for Toronto.
Kowenchuk off the face-off, a wrist shot. Stopped by Labonte, and she will freeze the disc.
Toronto's pressuring really hard right now, and they've got Natalie Spooner pretty much on the ice every other shift at this point, which is what you want to do when you have a girl like Natalie Spooner who plays for your team.
So we'll face it off again to the left of Labonte. Toronto leading 1-0 here as we are 6:45 into the first period. Fulton from Prévost at 6:11 of the first period, and that's where we are right now with a face-off deep in Montreal territory. Bette and Cava battling for the puck on the far side. Cava was able to center it, and Labonte had her stick down and pounces on the puck to get a face-off.
I feel like Charlene Labonte tends to play the puck a little bit more and doesn't cover up. I'm wondering if maybe that top corner Fulton goal has her feeling a little bit rattled. I wouldn't say that Charlene Labonte gets rattled, actually. Maybe I'll retract that statement. I don't think she's rattled, but we definitely don't see her cover up the puck as often as she has since that goal.
Talking about retracting statements, somebody may have said last year that this was the last game that we would be here at the Centre Étienne des Marteaux, and I may have spoken prematurely as we are back here for yet another season, as the renovations did not start this summer at the arena, which is fantastic, so we get to come home again.
But it's going to be pretty cool. It won't just be games at Étienne des Marteaux. There'll still be games on the South Shore and Brossard, even out in La Beauce, where Marie-Philippe Poulin is from. So that'll be a lot of fun for her family and friends.
Her and Liz Breton are both from that area. And Liz, one of the co-founders with Sammy Jo Small of the CWHL. Ambrose, right side for Kowenchuk. Had her stick lifted by Poulin, but Cava brings it in. Her wrist shot hit Poudrier, and the puck comes over to the near side, where it is LaFour skating it out to center and into the offensive zone for Les Canadiennes, but she's going to get a high sticking penalty here as she got the lumber up underneath the chin of Spooner. So Toronto will go to its second power play of the hockey game.
I'd like to see, a little bit more discipline from Les Canadiennes. Toronto definitely has the offensive power to capitalize on scoring chances, so you don't want to be giving away too many power play opportunities. Even if they don't score on the power play, they may score right afterwards.
In defense of LaFour there, she was going for to lift up the stick and just missed Spooner's stick. And
rookie mistake, as we call it.
Exactly. So Marin out on the penalty kill, centering the line for Les Canadiennes. Terry out there to take the draw for Toronto, and Montreal controls as Julie Chu skates it up the right side. Chu gets it out to center. She's stick checked there by Kelly Terry. And Caroline Ouellette has it. She'll play it back to Chartrand in her own zone. Give and go with one of the greatest women's hockey players this country has ever produced, Caroline Ouellette, as she ices the puck. Back in her own zone, Carly Campbell starts the rush up, coming up the middle. Left side now for Shannon Molson. Molson cuts across the grain to the right side, almost runs into Kelly Terry in Montreal territory, and that allows for Ouellette to come up with the puck and ice the disc. 38 seconds have expired here in Toronto's second power play. They're 0 for 1 on the contest. Kelly Terry, right wing side, through center. Now goes cross ice. It goes off of the stick of Florian Rougeau. Cohen-Chuck settles it down, though. Bette steals it from her and comes across the face of her own goal to Poudrier. She couldn't control the disc. Ambrose pinches and plays it back in deep. Rougeau up the near wall, and it goes all the way down the ice. As Toronto, Kessler sets it on a tee there for Natalie Spooner. Head full of steam, right wing side, through neutral ice. Now she cuts up the middle. Spooner going towards the goal, but she has stood up there, and the puck came free, and she almost knocked it into the back of the cage. Innocent enough looking play as Ambrose plays it off the end. Dasher. Spooner takes a snapper in tight. Centering pass by Spooner, and Bette steals and will skid it out to center. 30 seconds to go in the Toronto power play. Bette in shorthanded left wing side. She waits for reinforcements to come as her and Fast battle for it. Bette tried to cut out in front of the goal. Suzuki plays it over to the near side. Excuse me, that was Cava, not Suzuki, playing it over to the near side. Fast to Spooner. She spins away from the check of Imar. And now she'll go wide to the left wing side around Katia Clément-Edra. Centering pass goes off of the stick of Imar, and it goes behind the goal. She'll roll it over to the near side as the penalty to Lafleur has expired. So Toronto 0 for 2 on the advantage so far in the hockey game, leading 1-0 on a goal by Emily Fulton. A snapshot at 6:11 of this first period. Ouellette in over the line on the left wing side of the half boards. Vela takes her to the wall as the puck is locked up there. Katia Clément-Edra tries to provide backside support. Here is Chu down low for Ouellette. Ouellette takes it to the wall again, battling there with Shannon Molson. As coming up with it is Clément-Edra into the slot for Bocchia. She's knocked down by Vela as the puck rolls over to the far boards, and it's lifted to the blue line by Molson. Clearing attempt kept in by Les Canadiennes as the puck comes over to the near side. And it is brought out to center by Stewart, but it's played back the other way. Here's Sherrard, left wing side, centering pass. Peroff got her stick on it, but it's knocked aside by Kessler. And here's Campbell skating it out to center. Campbell leaves it for Vela, gives it back to Campbell. She'll bank it off the left wing boards in deep. Charlene Labonte out to play it. 9:15 to go in period number 1. 1-0 Toronto. Here's Peroff on the left wing side. Peroff at center now. Will dump it into the right wing corner as Sherrard gives chase. Sherrard comes up with the disc behind the net. Peroff, of course, played for Toronto when they won the Clarkson Cup a few years back before returning to Montreal. As the puck pops free, it will be clear to the blue line and just out as tipping it out to center was Prevost. Fulton out there on the forecheck. Rougeau's backhand pass knocked down by by Fulton. As now it is Prevost playing it in on goal, and Labonte will decide to settle things down and freeze it with 8:39 to go in the first period.
A couple of really good shifts we've seen from Natalie Spooner on that partial breakaway. It looked like that goal was all but hers. Really like the work that we saw from Lauriane Rougeau to sort of get that puck away from her and make sure that she didn't score on that opportunity. Now they're 0 for 2 on the power play. That's not something that you want to do. If you get those delicious opportunities in the first period, you really need to capitalize on them.
Here's Lafleur skating in on the left wing side. She pushes Ambrose back, but a good defensive play there by Renata Fast to help her blue line partner. Bette, neutral ice, plays it back in her own zone, left wing side for Chu, ahead to Poulin. Poulin jukes and jives into the line, wrist shot, knocked down in front by Ambrose. But Poulin still has it. She was knocked off the puck again, and Cavill will backhand it out to center on the right side. Spooner gives chase, but Amar banks it ahead to Bette. Bette on the half boards for Chu. She will play it in deep as Montreal goes for a line change. Just under 8 to go in the first period. Still 1-0 Toronto. Poudrier at the blue line, knocks it down, but she brings it back in offside. Is trapped in deep was Karel Imar.
I had a chance to speak to the new captain of Les Canadiennes, Marie-Philippe Poulin, at one of their practices a couple of weeks ago. And I asked her, if somebody hasn't been to a CWHL game, what would you tell them? And her response was, just come. Well, the woman has scored 2 Olympic gold medal winning goals, so I figure you should listen to her. So if you're at home watching, thinking, you know what, it might be nice to go out to a game tomorrow at 1:30, the Canadiennes and Toronto Furies will face off again at Etienne Desmarteau Arena. And bring your skates, because it's Skate with the Canadiennes Day, so you can skate with all of these amazing athletes after the game.
Bourgeois takes a shot and a kick safe by Kessler as the puck comes over to the near side. Imar giving battle. She'll play it over to the far side. Dingeldine plays it out to center, up the left side, and giving chase is Vela. Now on the left side, Sperato with the puck, plays it over to the near wing, and it will be cleared out to center. Here's Noémie Marin with Blais with her. Marin takes the wrist shot. It hits Ella Stewart in front, and the puck pinballs over to the near boards, and now it goes up over the glass and out of play with 7:12 to go in the opening 20. So what did you think of the big trade this summer?
Which trade are you talking about?
Well, if you're in Montreal, which we're not talking about, it would have been PK Subban, but I'm talking about Geneviève Lacasse getting traded to Calgary from Boston.
Not only does Geneviève Lacasse go to Calgary, but they also drafted Emrys Mashmeyer. They got so good between the pipes, and they're retaining Delaney Bryan, who's a former goalie of the year. I don't know. I'm way more intimidated to play the Inferno this year.
Here's Ouellette on the right side, comes in, takes the snapshot that just misses the near post. Here's Chu, left point, skating in. Chu goes wide into the corner. She has Themaidra on the far side. Puck knocked down with a high stick. Toronto touches it, so play continues. Chu steals. Themaidra into the slot, wrist shot, blocker saved by Kessler as it comes over to the near side. Fulton in her own zone, gets it away from Deschênes, plays it to the far side. Chelsea Saunders up the far boards, and Prévost will play it out to center. Toronto goes for a line change. Here's the quick counterattack for the Canadiens as Ouellette springs Deschênes free on the left side. Deschênes to the half boards now with it. Curls back towards the blue line, plays it back to the line, but it goes out to center. Here's Poulin. Knocked down in neutral ice. No penalty on the play as the fans wanted a call there. Ouellette takes it in deep. Poulin battling there. Good job with Fast as the puck comes to the near side for Fulton. The four takes her to the wall. Fast up with it as Poulin gives chase. Fast spins off of the check and will get it ahead to Fulton. Fulton up the middle of Cava. Cava goes to the left side. She's got Cohen-Chuck with her. Cava into where to go. Backhand shot stuck by Labonte as she went down to the butterfly. Cohen-Chuck battling there in the far corner now with Bette. Puck comes free. Here is Spooner. Her shot goes wide with 5:40 to go in period number 1. Toronto still on top on the goal by Fulton early in the hockey game. Poulin behind Lynette. Right side Poudrier. Poudrier to Lafort. She stick checked at the blue line. Toronto steals, and here comes Sperato, but Toronto is offside. So as always in our intermissions, Robin Flynn will be downstairs with our player of the period interview. And Robin, any thoughts on who you'll be interviewing?
I'm thinking that I'd like to speak to the goal scorer for the Toronto Furies, Emily Fulton. It was her first goal of the season. I'm sure she's feeling pretty jazzed that she's got her team up 1-0 with just over 5 minutes to play in the first.
Fella with a backhand shot. Kicked aside by Labonte. Goes back to the line for Stewart, and another penalty coming up. No, the referee's arm went up. I thought the slash might have been called, but it was to indicate a high stick. Play continues as Bella has it in the far corner. She'll give it there to Julie Allen. Sherrard will take it for Le Canadien and settle it down. Sherrard up the middle for Peroff. Off of her stick, and Shannon Molson has it just inside her blue line. Under 5 to go in the opening 20. Still 1-0 for the Furies. Dingeldine plays it into Montreal territory, but Le Canadiens spring Peroff free on the left side. She has her pocket picked there by Natalie Spooner, who's back on the counterattack into the right wing corner. She'll bring it back to the half boards now. Cross ice pass into the slot. Quick wrist shot is stopped by Labonte. As a good shot there by Aaron Zach had the veteran tender going east-west and almost got it past her. Here's Amar on the right side. Drop pass. Wrist shot and a glove save by Kessler. A great chance there for Emmanuel Blais, taking that little juicy pass in the slot.
I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of an Emmanuelle Blais shot. She might be one of the strongest people I know, not women, people. I've seen her work out, and she's absolutely terrifying. She's insanely strong. So the strength that you saw, the velocity on that shot is absolutely unreal. And what a beautiful setup right there. What a great chance for Montreal. That was probably their best chance of the first period.
I was just going to say that, Robin. That's really the first chance that we've really seen Kessler have to come up big with a solid stop. Michelle Saunders lifts it out to center ice. Chartrand backhands it up the far side for Ouellette. Bank pass off the boards into the offensive zone. Back pedaling there as Shannon Molson goes cross ice to the near side for Carly Campbell. At center, Prevost plays it over to Fulton on the near side, but that's broken up by the Canadiennes. And Toronto will play it back in to Montreal territory. Chartrand fans on the clearing attempt. Good job there by Clément Hydra to come back to play it. Takes a little pass back from Ouellette as she'll skate it over to the left side. Clément Hydra into the left wing corner. Behind the net she goes. Comes out the far side. Campbell battling with her. Clément Hydra back to the blue line. It goes for Rougeau. Give and go to Clément Hydra. She comes off of the half boards. Now we'll play it back into the right wing corner. Deschênes behind the net. Near side now for Ouellette. Ouellette to the half boards. 3:20 to go in the period. Ouellette curls. She's got a lane. Takes a shot and it hits a leg in front and comes out the near side. Poudrier on the half boards. Plays it ahead for Deschênes. She pushes Molson, but Molson is able to play to the far side. Laurier Rougeau pinches in right point. Down to the corner it goes. She's battling there with Kelly Terry, and she'll spin away from Rougeau and settle things down. As Poulin is out there on the forecheck now for the Canadiennes, but the puck is brought out to center by Fulton. She'll backhand it in on Labonte, who will freeze the puck and take a face-off in the defensive zone with 2:51 to go in the period.
Montreal really coming on a lot stronger now. Seems like Toronto was really dominant in the first half. I would say more than the first half of that period. And now it looks like Montreal has sort of shifted the momentum, and they're getting a lot of good chances on Kessler.
The other thing that I noticed was that they were controlling on that last shift the puck in the offensive zone like it was a power play, working the outside, which we're used to seeing.
And bringing Caroline Ouellette up to the point, which is something she does on the power play as well.
Fast, back in her own zone, battling with Bette, who has started a great investment business in the offseason. Here's Cava on the counterattack for Toronto. Towards the goal, she goes! And the puck rolls off her stick as Julie Chu got back to check her at the last moment. Chu in her own zone, right wing side, has it. Plays it ahead on the wing for Bette. Bette has Poulin, but she'll drop it to Chu. Chu tries to feed it in for Poulin, but it's broken up there by Cohenchuk, and she'll spring Spooner free on the left wing side. Spooner tries to cut inside on her Team Canada teammate, and that doesn't work as the puck is now on the pallet of Lafort. To Chartrand in her own zone for Bro. Up the near side for Marin. Marin for Stewart. By Toronto stealing. And now Montreal will settle the disc down and bring it in the offensive zone. Blais to Marin in the left corner. The puck will roll around to the far side for Fouracres. Fouracres at the point. Her wrist shot knocked down by Stewart. Clearing attempt by Stewart, kept in by Fouracres. And now Stewart will have it again. And this time she will get it out to center with a $1:35 to go in the opening period. Here's Emmanuelle Blais. Into the slot. Marin! Marin is knocked off the puck as the puck will roll behind the goal for Shannon Molson. On the far side, goes straight up the middle. Bro keeps it in onside as it was right on the blue line. As Molson is back battling with Marin. Marin loses the handle on the puck to her number 10 counterpart, Kelly Terry, who plays it to Vela. Out to center, here is Kelly Terry cutting in, takes the shot, knocked down by Fouracres, and she'll play the puck into the left wing corner with a minute to go in period number 1. Toronto still on top, 1-0. Caroline Ouellette at center, head full of steam into the offensive zone. She'll play it into the corner. She's got Clément Hydra in front of the goal. Tried to center it. It went off of Campbell's stick over to the far half boards. Prevost tries to clear. Comes out in front. Cavill will now lift it out to center. A high stick knocks it down. And when the Canadiens touch it, play will be stopped. And the face-off will come back in Montreal territory. 40 seconds to go in the period. And Robin Flynn is headed downstairs for her first period intermission guest. Robin, are you there?
I am indeed, John. I'm standing at ice level right now, waiting for Emily Fulton to come off when time expires in the first period.
So what are you seeing down at ice level right now?
Well, right now I've got Ambrose right in front of me, and I'm seeing a scrum going on right in front of the net. It is so much faster at ice level. If you come down to Etienne Desmarteaux Arena, you want to come early and get a seat right next to the glass.
30 seconds to go in the period. As Kowenchuk battling with Poulin, who comes up with the disc, and she will lift it out to center for Lafleur. Lafleur dishes off left wing side. Poulin now tries to catch up to the puck with Spooner, but Spooner locks her up in the battle of the captains. And Robin, since you are down at ice level, one of the perspectives that we don't have from up top is just how big and strong some of these players are. Poulin and Spooner had that battle right in front of you a moment ago.
Yeah, the battle of the captains right there. They're also two of the best players that play for the national team at the Olympics and at the World Championships. And these girls are not little. These girls are really strong. I was looking at weight classes the other day, and these girls are all weighing up in 160, 170, and it is pure muscle.
3 seconds to go in the period, and Poulin will backhand it into the offensive zone as the buzzer goes to end the opening 20. A period, Robin Flynn, that I would describe as being a period of two different halves, where Toronto came out strong at the beginning, and then Montreal came back in the latter stages of the frame.
Yeah, definitely. I would say at least 2/3 of that first period were completely dominated by the Toronto Furies. Not just Natalie Spooner. We saw Emily Fulton scoring her first goal of the season, and that was really something to see. You're seeing a lot of spark from the Toronto Furies, but then in that latter portion of the period, Montreal really took over, and they were the dominant ones with some really great chances, not just coming from their top six, but they've got a lot of depth and the ability to score in the bottom six, which is something really impressive that we've seen from Montreal this season so far.
5-5 were the shots on goal in the opening period. Emily Fulton from Caroline Prévost at 6'11", the only goal of the hockey game thus far. Cathy Chartrand and Sarah Lafleur were the had the two penalties for Montreal. So we're standing downstairs with Robin Flynn. Robin, is Carolyn with you?
I am indeed with Emily Fulton. Thank you very much, John. You're scoring your first goal of the season. How does that feel?
It's pretty exciting. It was just kind of happened so fast. I've had a lot of chances in the last two games last weekend, so it felt good to finally put one in the back of the net there.
Toronto really came out jumping. You guys were dominating really at the beginning of that period. What do you attribute that to? You guys really eating your Wheaties this morning?
Yeah, it's a really high-paced game. It's a lot of fun out there. There's a high level of compete and battle between both teams, so it's exciting. We just need to keep that up moving forward into the second period and not let this little break slow us down.
So when you scored your goal on Charlene Labonte, what did you see? That goes top corner, and she looked totally unprepared for that one.
Yeah, I just kind of went in to shoot, and their defense went down, so I just pulled it in a little bit and fired it top corner there, so I caught her off guard. You don't do that too many times with Charlie. So.
Definitely. Thanks. Have a good second, Emily.
Yes, thank you very much.
Back to you, John.
Thank you very much, Robin. It is 1-0. The Toronto Furies leading the Canadiennes de Montreal on Emily Fulton's first goal of the season at 6:11 of the first period. When we come back, our first period intermission continues. Empowered by Hilberg & Berg, this is CWHL Live.
Kimmy, you do know that there's only 4 seasons, right?
Then how do you explain the way kids wish away the summer because we can't wait to play in the fall? Or how teammates often become best mates? Or how families happily vacation in Winnipeg in January because that's where the tournament is? So you see, Miss Woods, there is a 5th season, and it's the best season in Canada.
So you're talking about hockey.
Oh, it's more than just talking, Miss Woods.
Scotiabank is proud to support over 5,000 teams in Canada's 5th season.
When I was 7, I wore these gloves. They held this stick. Well, these skates carried me over the blue line. We won the championship, and now it's all yours. Cool. Oh, and this mouth guard. I'll get my own. Thanks.
The 5th season is when spirit for the game gets passed down. That's why we're proud to support over 5,000 teams.
1-0 Toronto leading after 20 minutes of play here at the Centre Etienne Desmarteaux on CWHL Live, empowered by Hilberg and Burke. So let's take a look at the scoring summary as you take a look at some of the replays in tonight's game from the first period. The shots on goal in the opening 20 favored the Canadiennes 5-4 over Toronto, but the only goal came off of the stick of Emily Fulton, her first of the campaign at 6-11. Caroline Prévost set that one up, drawing the only assist. Toronto was over 2 in the period on the power play. Montreal has yet to go to the advantage in the contest. Upcoming games on CWHL Live include next Saturday night, the Toronto Furies taking on the Brampton Thunder. That is at the MasterCard Center in Toronto, and we will have that for you here on CWHL Live. The week after, or 2 weeks later, on the 19th, Brampton is in will be hosting Calgary, and then Boston will be traveling to Calgary for their next broadcast from Winsport Arena on Saturday, November the 26th. And you can get the entire schedule of CWHL Live games at thecwhl.com/watch, and that's where you can get the entire broadcast schedule for the 2016-17 season here in the CWHL. And again, the 10th anniversary season, seeing a bunch of different changes, including the new website, which is at www.thecwhl.com. If you go to the old website, you will get nothing, actually. So it's really important that you do come to the new website. And as we mentioned, all of our games that are being webcast on CWHL Live are being empowered by Hilberg and Burke, proud partners of the Canadian Women's Hockey League. And a reminder that their partnership will help empower all of the games on CWHL Live in 2016-17, bringing the country's best athletes to you live and free of charge, and will include the introduction of Hilberg and Berg products in CWHL team colors, as well as other great projects that will help raise support for the league and our incredible athletes. So, Robin Flynn, your thoughts of the opening 20 minutes of play between two rivals that was very lopsided a year ago, with Montreal winning every game between the two teams.
What's really fun about this contest is that these are two undefeated teams. They're both 2-0 heading into tonight's contest. And last season, I think that really only happened for Montreal other than their first game of the year when they faced off against Calgary. And that's when it came down to, these two teams are the two undefeated teams left. And then they split that weekend series. And you could almost call it at that point that was going to be the Clarkson Cup final. And to be honest, I'm kind of calling it now. I think we're going to see a rematch of Calgary and Montreal in the Clarkson Cup final at the Canadian Tire Centre in Canada, Ontario, which is really cool, where the Ottawa Senators play. They're on for another year partnership with the CWHL, so they'll be hosting the Clarkson Cup. But as Emily Fulton talked about at the beginning, Toronto just came out so strong. And, she mentions that you don't get chances like that on Charlene Labonte very often. And I thought that she was really true in saying that, because Charlie is usually so positionally sound. And she just wasn't in that one. I'd be interested to talk to her after the game and see what she saw on that Emily Fulton goal.
And just a moment ago, you saw the replay of the Kessler save, which was probably the highlight of the period, if you don't consider the goal that was scored by Fulton.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the Canadiennes, that was probably their best scoring chance of the first period. And that's something that I'm not very used to with this squad, is seeing not many scoring chances. I'm sure head coach Danny Brunet and assistant coach Lise-Marie Breton-Lebreu had quite the chat with the girls in between the periods. I see they're already back behind the bench, but they're going to want them to come out a little bit harder. We need to see Anne-Sophie Bette draw a penalty. It's something that she is so good at. I was asked on a women's hockey podcast this week, don't snow the goalie, by the way, check it out, who was the best chirper in the CWHL, and my vote goes to Anne-Sophie Bette, because I've stood at ice level, especially when she's playing the Brampton Thunder. She just gets under their skin, draws the penalty, and skates away. So I'd like to see her do that against the Toronto Furies tonight. Draw a penalty, give Montreal a power play opportunity. They had the best power play in the league last season, so that's something I want to see from her.
As we mentioned just a few moments ago, our next broadcast on CWHL Live comes your way next Saturday night, when the Toronto Furies will be hosting the Brampton Thunder. That's an 8 p.m. puck drop, and Nico Cardarelli will have the call of the game. And Nico had a great last couple of weeks covering the Major League Baseball playoffs for Sportsnet, but also for TBS. So a shout out to our good friend Nico and the crew down in Toronto. We look forward to watching the broadcast next week between the Furies and the Brampton Thunder. The Thunder 0-3 on the season, but one of those were a shootout loss.
Also just wanted to give a shout out to 3 new members of the CWHL Live team. Last season, I was the only female that was part of the CWHL Live broadcast crew. We've added 3 new ladies, Sandra, Jenna, and Maria. I've reached out to all of them to welcome them to the family. It's so awesome to have you on board. We need more women doing this. So if you're a girl listening right now and you're not just dreaming about playing, you want to be a broadcaster, you can do it. Follow me on Twitter at Robin Lisa Flynn. I'll help you out if I can.
We all will, because it's important that one of the raison d'etre for the CWHL is for us to be able to develop our young women's talents, and that's not just on the ice. It's also in the boardroom, it's in the business community, it's in the broadcasting as well, and I'm pleased that Robin's back for another great season with us here in Montreal. As Poulin comes to center ice, she'll take the draw against Michaela Cava, and we're underway in period number 2. 1-0 Toronto on top after 20 minutes of play. Chu, backhand pass to Chartrand. She has to dive to knock it away from the charging Spooner. And Toronto's done a really good job containing this top line of the Canadiennes. Chu comes in, dishes off, left wing side. Poulin's wrist shot does not get through as it went off of Ambrose. Back to the line it goes Chartrand. Chartrand wrist shot through traffic. Poulin scores! She banks it out of the air past Kessler, who had no idea the puck was coming towards her.
Well, that's something that I think any goalie facing Marie-Philippe Poulin can say. They had no idea the puck was coming towards her. Marie-Philippe Poulin just managed to roof that one as Christina Kessler, I think, thought the puck was coming low and wasn't able to get back up in time to stop Marie-Philippe Poulin, who scores her second goal of the season. And I'm going to have to pay, because I made a pledge at the start of the season that I would donate $2 for every Marie-Philippe Poulin goal to the Montreal Canadiens Children's Foundation. So we're up to $4. Thanks, Pooh.
So it's 1-1, 29 seconds into the second period. Poudre back in her own zone, plays it to Laurier Rougeau, over to Kim Deschênes. The New Brunswick native takes it over to the near boards, and she'll get it ahead to Katia Clément-Hydra, who will play it out to center. Campbell in her own zone, over to Fulton on the left wing side. Cross ice pass, far wing for Kelly Terry. Nice pass to Prevost. Prevost going towards the goal, but she ran out of room as Rougeau checks her. Kelly Terry with it, plays it down low for Fulton. Fulton and Poudre battling on the far side, but a great job by Katia Clément-Hydra to come up with the puck. Shannon Molson went for the pick in the neutral ice. Kim Deschênes tipped it into Toronto territory, but it's played back out into Montreal territory by Ella Stewart. Molson, backhand pass to the near boards. Fulton has to come back to chip it out to center ice as Imar seals the puck off on the near boards. Stewart, her pass ahead for Spataro was out of her reach, and it will go for an icing charge against Toronto. We have played 1 minute and 37 seconds of the second period. We are tied at 1 apiece.
Well, it sounds like the Canadiens took my advice in getting one in early on Kessler. They just didn't do it in the first period. It's something that you want to do really quickly at the start of the period to get one past Kessler, and that's usually your best chance of scoring on her. I also thought it was kind of nice that you had former captain Kathy Chartrand passing that off to current captain Marie-Philippe Poulin, a handing off of the torch, if you will.
And Julie Chu picking up the other assist on the Poulin goal to tie the game up. Here's Blais at center. Ahead for Imar, but it's broken up there. Shannon Molson over to the far side. Her clearing attempt doesn't work. Imar to Blais in the slot, leaves it there for Fouracres. Fouracres skates it to the right wing faceoff circle. Wrist shot goes wide of the mark. Allen tries to clear up the far side, but Bro comes in, pinches. And the shot was knocked down in front by Molson as the puck comes over to the near side. Fouracres goes cross ice in her own zone for Sophie Bro, up the middle. Vela almost picked it off, but the puck rolls over to Blais, and she will hammer it in. Cross ice dump in that allows the Canadiens to go for a line change here, as Chu has it at the right point. Chu to Poulin, drops it back. Chartrand, left point position. Wrist shot goes off of Allen to the far corner. Lafort has the puck. back to Chartrand. Right side for Chu. Snaps it towards the goal. Pinball's in front. Bete back to the line it goes for Chartrand. Chartrand skates to the left wing. Richard through traffic as she had Lafar in front trying to tip it in on goal. And the puck will roll out to center ice.
By the way, if you're looking for a nickname for rookie Sarah Lafleur, I saw on Charlene Labonte's Instagram today that they're calling her Snipe Show. So I think that's officially the Boston University graduates' nickname this season.
And speaking of Charlie, she made headlines this week in various media here talking about her culinary expertise.
Yeah, she's hoping to become a chef. Unbeknownst to many, that is her next pursuit, her next career goal. And that'll be awesome. I would love to have a meal cooked by Charlie. I should ask if I can go over to her house for dinner one night. I also saw, if you're following along on social media, Carolyn Ouellette made this amazing beef Wellington.
Oh, my goodness.
It looked unbelievable last night.
Here's Bete on the right wing side, streaking drop pass. And it's broken up by her number 24 counterpart, Spooner, who will play it in the high of the net. Oh, I know. I saw those photos as well, and it was like, wow.
Perfectly cooked.
Oh, my
pink
goodness.
In the middle. Oh, wow.
And then Julie happened to also mention that there will be all kinds of leftovers for this week, so hopefully she'll bring some into the office.
Again, I'd be happy to help out if they want to invite me over. That's like a standing offer, you guys.
I'm pretty sure that you just invited yourself to somebody's house for dinner.
Well, I saw Caro last week to speak to her a little bit after a practice, and I said to her, "You must be sick of me by now." And she sort of laughed. She said, "No, I love seeing you, Robin."
Well, and actually what is great is the glove pass is called here against the Canadiennes. We're seeing more and more media covering the CWHL, not just here in Montreal. We're getting a lot of coverage in La Presse and the Gazette, which you're writing for, on TSN Radio, CJAD, as well as CWHL Live, but also in the Toronto market, the Calgary market. More and more people are taking notice of our league. And when I say the Toronto market, I do mean Toronto and Brampton because it is the GTA. Here's Deschênes in, wrist shot. Kessler down to the butterfly, and she makes a solid stop. Doesn't give up a rebound, and she was able to get her glove down on the puck to freeze the play.
Well, it looks like Kim Deschênes isn't having a hard time developing some chemistry with her new line mates. This is her first game playing with Carolyn Ouellette and Katya Clement-Hedra this season. She was playing on that first line with Poulet and Bete before that. And kind of interesting that Danny Brunet did choose to move Sarah Lafleur up after a couple games. I expected that from the start of the season just because Sarah and Marie-Philippe Poulet have played together in the past, and they're both Boston University graduates.
Ouellette won the draw, and Montreal controls. Ouellette in the right wing corner after taking the pass from Katya Clement-Hedra, who comes up with the puck momentarily. Ouellette battling there with Campbell behind the goal. Forearms her away and maintains possession of the puck with one hand on the stick. Now the puck will hit a skate and come over to Campbell on the near side. She will backhand it out to center. Rougeau in a foot race with Prévost. Prévost gets around her, but a good job by Poudrier to get back to seal her off, as Lauriane Rougeau will play to the far side. Goes off of the skate of Kim Deschênes. Ambrose spins, banks it off the right boards. Here's Fulton into the slot. Wrist shot by Terry, and that went wide of the mark. Here's Prévost behind the goal. On the near side for Terry. Back out in front for Prévost. And Katya Clement-Hedra settles it down. Vela knocks the puck away from her as it comes over to the near side. Ouellette across the face of the goal. Give and go with Poudrier. And Ouellette has it on the near side. But a good job by Dingeldine to force her back. As Ouellette will finally get it out to center. Approaching the 5-minute mark of the second period. We're knotted up at a goal apiece as Zach comes in on the right side, and she gets just run over with a bit of a high check, but she was up against Carolyn Ouellette, and Zach is not the tallest player on the Toronto team.
And Carolyn Ouellette is one of the tallest players in the CWHL, not someone you want to run into.
Here's Perroff playing it into the offensive zone. Molson goes cross crease for Stewart on the far side. Spooner can't get it past Chartrand, and the puck will go back deep in Toronto territory. Spooner will settle the disc down. Now we'll go back into the corner on the far side in her own zone. Plays the puck over to the near side. And Dingeldine will play it back to the far corner where it's Ella Stewart seeking refuge behind the goal. Back to Dingeldine on the near side. Backhand pass, trying to get it to Spooner. She connects and is able to get it out to center. And the Canadiens will dump it back in off of the stick of Jordana Perroff, who now goes for a line change. In her own zone, Shannon Molson up the middle. And clearing it out to center was Michaela Cava. Julie Chu intercepting in neutral ice. Chu up the right wing side for Lafar. Stewart back in her own zone. Plays at the far side. Molson's been out there a long time as Bette now is out there. The top line for Le Canadien on the attack. Poulain plays it up over all the players. But Cohen-Chuck has it for Toronto to Shannon Molson. And she will play it to the blue line. Knocked down by Chartrand. Chartrand wristed it on goal. And now Kessler will freeze the puck. Robin, one of the things that I'm going to be a nerd here for a moment.
I love it. Nerd out.
So, working at Concordia with Julie Chu is really cool. But what's even really more cool is to see Karel Emar and Caroline Willett on a regular basis in our offices. Mallory Lawton, who works with me, the daughter of Les Lawton, our legendary coach at Concordia, I walked into her office one day and said, oh my God, Carol Willett is here. Julie's here. Oh my God, this is like so cool. I'm living the dream. I get to hang out with some of the coolest people I know who happen to be women's hockey stars.
I feel like that every time they say, hi, Robin. I'm like, oh my God, Caro knows my name.
Yes.
I get starstruck. We all do.
But a lot of these players are so down to earth.
Very.
And some of our young fans are on a first-name basis with the players as well. And a penalty coming up here to Emar, who held up Prevost on the forecheck coming in, spun her around, and it's going to be a holding call. So Toronto goes to its third power play of the hockey game. They are 0 for 2 thus far on the night.
A bit of a transition for Carol Amard, who moves up front this year because of the additional depth on the back end. Traditionally, she was a forward in her college playing days, so it shouldn't be too difficult of a transition to see her playing up front this year.
So we'll face it off to the right of Charlene Labonte, who has not seen a lot of action here in the second period. Poulain and Willett up front. Chu and Chartrand on the back end. Fast out there with Ambrose on the blue line for Toronto, who has it. Wrist shot through traffic. Spooner on the forecheck there. Spooner, Cava, and Cohen-Chuck complete the power play unit here for Toronto. 15 seconds gone by in this Furies power play. And they will start the rush up in their own zone. On the right side pass ahead for Spooner. It goes off of the stick of Chartrand over the glass into the penalty bench.
Just noticed there, as that was going into the Toronto zone, that Marie-Philippe Poulain hung back to allow Julie Chu and Kathy Chartrand to pinch in. That's not something that you would see from a superstar in another league. Somebody with the scoring prowess of a Marie-Philippe Poulain hanging back on the penalty kill. That just speaks to the type of leader, the type of hockey player she is. She is so well-rounded that she's able to do that.
So we'll face it off at center ice. Noémie Marin out there now on the PK as Fast skates back in her own zone. Fast drops it for Ambrose. Ambrose being bothered there by Bette, who is a sniper when it comes to the penalty kill over her career in the CWHL. Kessler plays it to Ambrose up the right side in her own zone. Ahead for Spooner. Spooner, head full of steam, goes around Bette over to the near side. Spooner in, snaps it off of the stick of Chu to the far side. Cohen-Chuck leaves it there in the right corner for Spooner. She'll skate it into the right wing faceoff circle. Cross-ice pass for Cava. Goes off the side wall. Now back to Fast. Winding, firing! Spooner got her stick on it. The puck lays loose, and she plays it over to Cohen-Chuck, but she could not get the stick on the disc as Bette is upended. Fans wanted a penalty here in Montreal. 44 seconds to go in the penalty to Karel Emar.
Janelle Kwanchuk should be in the penalty box right now.
Spooner on the right wing side into the offensive zone. She goes behind the net. Centering pass, and a good job by Labonte to get the stick down, but also her skate to the post as she freezes the puck on that quasi wraparound attempt. You're definitely right. That could very well and probably should have been a penalty.
That's the second missed call. We saw one in the first period where the Canadiens should have had a power play opportunity. And this should have cut that power play for the Furies with 30 seconds left to play. I don't know exactly what's going on in the ref's head right now.
Campbell gives it off to Kelly Terry. Left half wall, back to Campbell. This is the number 2 Toronto power play unit out there. Looking for their first power play goal of the game. This is their third attempt. Campbell with a shot from the point, knocked down in front by Poudrier. And Les Canadiennes will play it down the ice with 10 seconds to go on the PK. Molson starts the rush up for Toronto. 5 seconds to go in the advantage. She'll feather it in the offensive zone. Broken up by Poudrier. She hammers it down the ice, and Amar comes back on the ice. Les Canadiennes 3 for 3 on the penalty kill in the hockey game. Here's Prévost up the left wing side. Tries to go around Rougeau, but she stood up, and that allows Fouracres to come up with a disc and skate it out to center on the right side. She will feather the puck in deep, and that allows the rest of the PK unit to get off to reset the lineup here for Montreal. Clément Hydra with the steal for Ouellette. Deschênes drop pass back to Clément Hydra, but she has to skate it back out into neutral ice as Fulton gives chase. Fouracres on the far side, give and go with Sophie Brault. Fouracres now to Ouellette on the right wing. Ouellette will play it off of the boards ahead for Kim Deschênes. Deschênes tries to cut inside on Fast. She's knocked down. No call there. Here's Clément Hydra. Centering pass. Fast. Did not see Caroline Ouellette in behind her, and she was just able to knock the puck away from big number 13.
That stick work from Katja Clément Hydra there to dance around and get a chance. Wow.
Clément Hydra gives it to Deschênes on the right side. Deschênes drops it for Ouellette into the slot. Ouellette with a shot, and it goes off of Allen's stick over the glass and out of play.
And you can see Caroline Ouellette sort of groaning to herself as she skates off to the bench. Fun fact, Caroline Ouellette, all-time leading scorer among active players, not just active, but all-time in the CWHL. And Marie-Philippe Poulin is starting to close in on that top 5. And already. She's only played 2 seasons. Last season and before she went off to play in the NCAA when she was 16 years old. I think if she sticks around in the CWHL, we're going to see her surpassing Caroline Ouellette at a certain point.
Poulin off the face-off, just wristed one wide of the far post. Poulin with it again. Centering pass for Bette, but she couldn't get her stick free from Ambrose in front of the net to get the shot away. Good job by Ambrose. She's played well on the blue line for Toronto tonight. Bette, tip pass intended for Poulin, comes over to the near side. Cohen Chuck for Toronto with it, gives it to Natalie Spooner. Spooner in, goes wide right side. Good back check there by Lafar. Centering pass, and Poulin intercepted it as Cava was in front of the goal. Poulin tries to go up the far boards. It hits a skate, but she comes up with it, gives it to Bette. Bette, 3-on-2 with Poulin. Poulin to Bette, right side, but on the left wing, Lafar was ahead of the play.
And that line had been on for a little bit. They looked a little bit gassed as they were skating up for that chance, so that might account for why they wound up offside there.
So we are just over the midway point of the hockey game. It is 1-1. Poulin for the Canadiens here in the second period at the 29-second mark from Chartrand-Chu, and then back at 6:11 of the first period, it was Fulton from Prévost. And that's all the scoring thus far in the hockey game. Shannon Molson in front of her own goal, lost a handle on the puck, but a good job by Stewart to play it out to center. Here's Vela on the right wing side. She's got Zach going towards the goal. Vela feathers it in. Blocker aside by Levante over to the near side. Girard, backhand pass ahead for Bacchia. To Lauriane Rougeau, left wing side. She will play it just inside the blue line. Knocks down Stewart. Here's the follow-up by Jordana Peroff. Peroff into the corner she goes. Peroff still with the puck. Tries to go with a backhand pass on the short side on the left wing that hit the side of the net. Molson over to the far side. Girard will play it back to Fouracres. Fouracres gives it to Girard as the fans try to start the wave here at the Centre Etienne Desmarteaux. Fouracres, right point. Pinball's in front. And coming up with it is Dingeldine, and she will get it to the blue line, but not past Bro. This third, fourth line for the Canadiennes, again, creating opportunities as Peroff tried to drive the goal, as she will now peel off and go to the bench. Toronto will bring it out to center. On the left wing side, here's Jess Vela. She'll play it into the far corner. Settling it down there is Sophie Brault. Off the end wall for Fouracres. She'll come up the near side. Off of the stick of Blais. And Terry curls at neutral ice now on the right wing side for Toronto. She'll cut in off the right wing side, but the puck rolled off of her stick just enough for Brittany Fouracres to come up with it. Up the middle for Blais. Emmanuel Blais goes left wing side. She comes in, takes the wrist shot, and Kessler takes it in the breadbasket and holds on for the whistle.
I really like what I'm seeing from that third line in the second period of Emmanuel Blais, Noémie Marin, and Carole Amard. I think your instinct would be to say that because the Canadiens have such a dominant top six, that Toronto would be gassed in trying to defend against the bottom six. But I think that this is really just a testimony to the depth that Montreal has now, especially after that off season. When you've got Jordana Peroff playing on your fourth line, I mean, you got a lot of depth up front. I have to wonder sometimes also, because she's a former Toronto Fury. Last season, she was traded to Montreal. Does she ever still think, she sees that blue and white jersey and accidentally wants to pass the puck up to them?
I've known Jordana for a long time now, dating back to when she was with the Martlets. She is from the Toronto area originally. And if I'm not mistaken, her and I do share a passion for a team that is blue and white.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I didn't know that about Jordana.
I think so. I'm going to double check that with her because I'm pretty sure that we've had conversations over the years about the Leafs.
I know she does play softball in the summer because
Yes.
she plays with a few of my colleagues over at the radio station.
Deschênes ahead. Here's Ouellette, but Katia Clément-Edra was just ahead of the play. So we are going to settle things down again and go for a reset in neutral ice. And the fans trying to start the wave here at the Centre Étienne Desmarteaux. And what's really interesting about that is the fact that this arena is very much like Olympic Stadium. They've got these crazy seats from the Olympics, and if you start going bang, 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 we're never going to hear anything in
Well, this
place.
was an Olympic venue when the Montreal Olympics were held in 1976, if I'm not mistaken.
That's exactly it. I want to say basketball or netball was played here, if I'm not mistaken.
That would make sense. I have to say, I want to keep my eye on Carolyn Ouellette after that offside was called. The way she banged her stick down, she looked frustrated. She looked frustrated when she went a little too high on that shot on Kessler. I think that we're going to see something big from her in the next 6 minutes.
In the offensive zone, here is Cava. She loses a handle on the puck, but Deschênes turns it over to Spooner. Not the person you want to give the puck away to in the defensive zone. Spooner curling, firing, and it went wide over the near side. Fast, could not handle the puck, and Deschênes will play it away from her deep into Toronto territory. Kessler comes out to play it for Cava. Cava up the left wing side for Spooner. 3-on-2. Spooner to Cava in the slot, knocked down by Chu, and Chu will now spring away a 2-on-1 back the other way. Here's Poulin with Bette. Poulin right side in, past Bette, fans on the shot. It goes out the back door. Here's Poulin behind the net. She couldn't handle the puck, and back to play it is Cohenchuk for Toronto. Ahead for Spooner. Right side now cuts inside on Poudrier, tries to go to the goal, and she's knocked down as the puck rolls in on Lamonte as Laurent Rougeau and Spooner go hard to the ice.
Well, who says there's no hitting in women's hockey? I've seen at least 2 or 3 good ones tonight.
Well, there is certainly body contact, and that's the misnomer, right?
Yeah.
Is that there is no body contact. That is the furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah, if you're new to women's hockey and you looked and thought, oh, there's not going to be any checking, no, this is definitely a tough sport, and, it's not bowling.
Not bowling.
That is definitely a no-contact sport. It was the first no-contact sport that came to mind.
Okay, sure. With all due respect to our friends who are bowlers.
Yes.
Which,
Although, I would pay to watch contact bowling.
oh boy.
Stay in your lane, John.
Yes. Yeah, remind me not to go bowling with you. Off the face-off, Poulin plays it ahead to Bette. Bette left wing side, streaking. As the pass comes in front, and a great chance there for Poulin. A great chance there set up by Sarah Lafall.
What a feed from Sarah LaFord. Knew exactly where Poulin would be.
Right on the ice for her to get the tip in on goal, tight on Kessler, but just did not quite connect. Here is Bro. Backhand pass, deep in her own zone for Fouracres. She spins, goes cross ice for Bro. Ahead for Bette, but it's knocked down. And here comes Toronto. Jess Vela in on the left wing side. Vela into the corner, battling with Fouracres. And then Vela just barrels over Bro as she keeps a handle on the puck and plays it back to Fast just out of her reach. So she has to go back in neutral ice. Ambrose being watched there by Les Canadiennes, Karel Imar, as Kelly Terry gains the offensive zone for Toronto. 5 to go in the second period, still knotted up at 1. Here's Fulton coming in, left wing circle, takes a shot, blocked in front, and the follow-up attempt just went wide as Labonte went down for the shot, the initial shot, and missed it on the second one, but the shot was wide.
Fulton looked like she was trying to recreate her goal from the first period, going top corner to Charlie's left.
Montreal will clear it out to center ice. Fulton with it. She plays it to the Canadiens' blue line, but it's knocked down by Amar, and now Noémie Marin will play it ahead, and Toronto gets its first penalty of the hockey game. It is an interference call, so the Canadiens go to the advantage.
I'm predicting Carolyn Ouellette will score on the second wave of this power play, so it shall be noted.
And it is. So Montreal on the season, They are 1 for 5 on the power play, 20%, right around the same clip as it was a year ago. Of course, a very limited sample size. Toronto on the PK, however, they are 9 for 9 on the disadvantage this season. Let's set up the power play on this face-off to the left of Christina Kessler. Poulin out there with Deschênes and with Bette. Willette on the blue line. And now Poulin goes back to the line. Chu on the left point. So 4 forwards out there for the Canadiennes. Here is Willette. Back to the line it goes for Poulin. Poulin dishes. Willette. Right side, back to Poulin. Poulin in the middle. Down low, Bette right side. Doesn't get the shot off. Back to Willette. Willette. Her back pass for Poulin is intercepted by Spooner. But Poulin gets back to it in neutral ice. She plays it to Willette, who backpedals inside her own blue line. Gives it to Julie Chu, who plays it back to Willette. Left side, goes right wing for Chu, just out of her reach, but it goes to Bette at the line. Chu in. Ooh, that should have been offside, but it's not. Toronto has the puck, clears it out to center. Julie Chu takes it like a shortstop, knocks it down at neutral ice, backpedals in her own zone, pass ahead to Willette on the right side. $1:07 to go in the power play, 3:33 to go in the second period. 1-1 is the score. Spooner up the near side. Poulin at center ice will play it ahead for Bette. She backhands it in deep, and the number 2 power play unit comes over the boards. Playing it down the ice is Campbell. And Montreal has 42 seconds to go on the power play. Cathy Chartrand almost had her pocket picked there by Jess Vella. And away at center on the left wing side is Katia Clément-Aydra. She is Marin streaking towards the goal. She gives it to Amar, who runs over a player in the slot. That was Saunders, and she is going to get the gate. That was a body check. No doubt about that one. So Montreal's first power play of the hockey game comes to an end with 26 seconds in the advantage. And in 26 seconds' time, Toronto will go to its 4th power play of the hockey game. They are 0 for 3 on the night in this 1-1 tie with 2:54 to go in the second period. Robin Flynn is on her way downstairs to get her second period, her second intermission guest set up. Kelly Terry out to take the face-off there. She loses the draw as Sarah Lafleur brings it into the offensive zone, and Shannon Molson's going to get the gate. She got her hands up in the face of Lafleur, and now Montreal goes back to the power play for 19 seconds. So they will have a 19-second power play here. And then in a minute 53, they will go back to another 19-second power play. Face off to the left of Kessler. We're skating 4-on-3 here. Lots of ice to work with for the next 20 seconds or so. Chu wins the draw, back to Rougeau. Gives it to Poulin, right side. Poulin down low. Willette in the slot. Fan on it, and then a backdoor shot by Chu. Came right out the near side. Poulin into the slot, hit the goalpost. Here's Willette. She falls on the puck on the near side, protects it, as we are now skating 4 aside. Here's Poulin. Poulin down low for Rougeau. There was confusion at the penalty bench for Toronto. And Fast, who came over the boards, gets back into the play and breaks it up. Here's Willette losing a handle on the puck at the blue line. As Poulin has it. Uses a screen coming in on the right wing side. Puts the brakes on. Goes cross ice. Rougeau into the slot. Takes the shot. And Kessler makes the save. So Robin, at ice level, how did that last situation look to you?
Well, Molson definitely wasn't happy with herself, and she definitely wasn't happy with the referee. You could see it when she was throwing her hands up in the air. Did not like that call. But it looked like a fair call to me. I don't think that was the case of the refs trying to make it up for a few of those missed ones from earlier in the game.
We just saw on the screen Julie Chu's great opportunity a moment ago as Willette passed it to her on the left side, and she backhanded it, but pretty much at the same angle as she took the pass. Chartrand at the left point, bothered there by Spooner. Gives it to Deschênes. We're 4-on-4 for the next 55 seconds. Chartrand tries to go cross ice to Deschênes, but Fast has it. Fast for the Fury behind their own net. Chartrand up there. Not used to seeing big number 8 on the forecheck in a 4-on-4 situation as Koenchuk has it. She'll leave it there for Renetta Fast. who comes over to the left side for Ambrose. Ambrose slams the brakes on just inside her blue line, goes right side for Fast. Pocket picked in neutral ice. Bette was there, and an offside call against Toronto. So, Robin, who do you have coming up here in our second intermission?
Well, I'm going to be speaking to new captain Marie-Philippe Poulin, who also happened to score the tying goal in the second period.
So we will have that coming up for you in a few moments' time. As there's a minute 18 to go here in the second period, we're still 4-on-4 for the next 20 seconds. Peugeot in her own zone, ahead to Poulin. Poulin bothered there by Kelly Terry, but Poulin gets away from her and brings it in left wing side. Snapshot kick saved by Kessler as the puck comes over to the near side. Julie Chu with it. Chu goes to Poulin. Poulin, top of the offensive zone, top of the arc, right side Ouellette. As the Canadiens go back to the power play for 10 seconds. Here is Poulin walking off the right side, centering pass. Has Lafar just ran over Terry as we are inside 40 seconds to go in the second period. On the near side, Saunders tries to clear. Lafar steals for Montreal. Into the slot she goes. Prévost ties her up. Lafar tries to play it down low for Ouellette. And coming up with is Kelly Terry. She'll reverse it over to the near boards with 20 seconds to go in the second period. 1-all in the hockey game. Here is Ouellette. Goes back to the blue line for Julie Chu. Chu pinched, and here's a 2-on-1 for Toronto with 15 seconds to go in the period. Prévost to Fulton. Back to Prévost. Broken up there nicely by Poudrier. And back comes Les Canadiennes with 6 seconds to go in the period. Marin tries to get it in deep. Ouellette goes to the bench, and the buzzer will sound to end the second period. A very entertaining 20 minutes of play, Robin, as the two teams exchanged scoring opportunities in this frame.
Yeah, I think I'm going to want to call all the games from down here in the future, John. It's so much more fun to be watching from down here, I have to say. But, yeah, what a really intense end to the second period. You saw scoring chances both ways, and seeing Poudrier, wow, what a move there at the end of the second period.
So 1-1 is the score through 40 minutes of play. And we'll recap the scoring here for you. Emily Fulton scoring early in the first period at 6:11, her first of the season from Caroline Prévost. And then 29 seconds into this middle stanza, it was Marie-Philippe Poulin with her second of the season from Cathy Chopin, her third assist, and Julie Chu. And the goal scorer is standing by right now with Robin Flynn down at the bench.
Thanks so much, John. I am here with Marie-Philippe Poulin, who tied the game up. What did you see on that goal?
I mean, it was a great play by my teammates, and Cathy put it on the net like we asked between the first and the second. So, and to be honest, I really got lucky. I got it off the air, and it went in. So it was a good start of the period for sure.
Seeing a lot of intensity at the end of the period. It seems like there might be some frustrations between the two teams. You guys chirping back and forth at each other. Is that just par for the course, or is that new?
No, I think it's part of the game. I think we knew the league really got better over the last year, and you can tell right away it's 1-1 after the third, and that's what we want. That's what women's hockey, it's all about playing hard, intense hockey, and that's what we showed tonight again.
So before the start of the season, I made a pledge that for every goal you score this season, I'm donating $2 to the Montreal Canadiens Children's Foundation. So how many do you think you're going to score, just so I can start budgeting for it at the end of the season?
I'm really not sure about that, but you should be fine, trust me.
You're not going to go bankrupt anytime?
No, you should be fine.
We'll score a lot. We want to make sure we give a lot to the great cause. Have a great third period.
So much.
Back to you, John.
Thank you, Robin and Marie-Philippe. It is 1-1 after 40 minutes of play. Shots on goal in period number 2 favored the Canadiens 6-2 for a game total of 11-8. Not the most scoring chances we have seen between these two teams in the past, but a very entertaining second period. Stay tuned for the third coming up in a few minutes' time. From the Centre Étienne Desmarteaux in Montreal, you're watching CWHL Live and powered by Hilberg and Burke.
When I was 7, I wore these gloves. They held this stick. Well, these skates carried me over the blue line. We won the championship, and now it's all yours. Cool. Oh, and this mouth guard. I'll get my own. Thanks.
The 5th season is when spirit for the game gets passed down. That's why we're proud to support over 5,000 teams.
Kimmy, you do know that there's only 4 seasons, right?
Then how do you explain the way kids wish away the summer because we can't wait to play in the fall? Or how teammates often become best mates? Or how families happily vacation in Winnipeg in January because that's where the tournament is? So you see, Miss Woods, there is a 5th season, and it's the best season in Canada.
So you're talking about hockey.
Oh, it's more than just talking, Miss Woods.
Scotiabank is proud to support over 5,000 teams in Canada's 5th season.
As you enjoy highlights of this second period, we remind you that the score is 1-1 between Toronto and Montreal here on CWHL Live, empowered by Hilberg and Berg. Let's take a look at the scoring summary in tonight's hockey game through 40 minutes of play. The Furies open up the scoring at the 6:11 mark of the first period. Emily Fulton, her first goal of the campaign. A rocket of a wrist shot just under the crossbar over the glove of Charlene Labonte. Carolyn Prévost picks up her first assist of the season. That makes it 1-0 for Toronto after 1 period of play. Shots on goal in the first period, 5-5 between the two teams. In the second period, it did not take long. In fact, it only took 29 seconds for Marie-Philippe Poulain to score her second goal of the campaign. Cathy Chartrand picks up her third assist on the marker, and Julie Chu her first point of the season. That was at 29 seconds of the second period. Shots on goal in the second period for 6 for Les Canadiennes for a game total of 11, and 2 for the Furies for a game total of 7. Power plays in the hockey game. Toronto is 0 for 3. Les Canadiennes 0 for 2 so far in the contest. Well, we started doing this at the end of last season, and we're going to continue on our broadcast this year. It's a bit of a CWHL panel discussion, so I'm going to turn it back over to my broadcast partner, Robin Flynn.
Yeah, well, we're really lucky to be joined in the booth now by Habs Eyes on the Prizes Jared Book, who's been covering the team for several seasons. He also covers CIS women's hockey, so he's probably the Bob McKenzie of women's hockey at this point, as I like to call him. What did you think about the second period?
It was a lot better for Montreal. They came out a little bit slow in the first period. They allowed the first goal, and that's something they don't usually do. They came back a lot better in the first period. Obviously, a quick goal on the first shift from Marie-Philippe Poulain kind of got them back on their feet. And Toronto is really playing their defensive system that they tried to do last year. But I think this year, the Summer West actually has the pieces in place to be able to do that, and that's a big difference this year.
What do you think about what Marie-Philippe Poulin told me just after the second period when I asked her about how everything seemed a little bit more intense between the two teams and why she thought that was? And she thinks it's because the league as a whole got so much better. Every team got better, including the Toronto Furies. What do you think was some of the best things that they did this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, they got kind of lucky. I mean, their first two picks in the draft, Erin Ambrose and Renata Fast, they're both Team Canada defenders. So that right there drastically changes their team. They got Janelle Kwanchuk back from injury. She's another player who's on the Four Nations Cup roster for Team Canada. So that's a big difference. Michaela Cava, their third-round pick, she had a couple of good chances in the first period too. I just think that last year in the draft, Brampton really added a lot of pieces in the draft. And I think this year, Toronto kind of turned tables a little bit. They got a lot stronger. Brampton did as well, but I think Toronto got a lot stronger. Their first three picks are all difference makers, plus they added Kwanchuk back from injury. So it's no wonder that they're much improved this year.
And Jared, you make a really interesting point about Ambrose and Fast and their impact in this hockey game, because they are out there every time that the Poulin line comes out onto the ice, and they've held them in check on a lot of opportunities. In fact, what I'm seeing with them on the back end, as Montreal approaches the Toronto blue line, they're stepping up into the counterattack and really disturbing the Montreal rush, penetrating the offensive zone.
Yeah, they really try and slow Montreal down, and that's the way you have to do it. You have a little leeway once they dump the puck in to get contact on the forwards, and that's what they're doing really well. And, you mentioned that they're on the ice. They basically added a top defense pairing in the draft, and that's not something you see very often. I mean, obviously, last year Montreal added Marie-Philippe Poulin, but you see top two defenders enter in draft, and that's a big change for a team.
You mentioned adding two top-end defenders. Montreal did that this year also in adding Cassandra Poudrier and Brittany Fouracres. What do you think about what you've seen from them so far?
Poudrier had a great play at the end of the second period. The 2-on-1, Julie Chu got caught a little bit up ice, and it was Fulton and Prevost, I think, on the 2-on-1, and she broke up the pass well and kind of created a scoring chance going the other way with a few seconds left. So that's what she brings. She's also in a Team Canada program. She's not on the Four Nations Cup roster, but she has that kind of talent that Montreal needed on the back end, especially with Carly Hill out right now. And Brittany Fouracres, she's played at McGill, and McGill has a program where it's basically a CWHL program. They have so much talent there. They're every team in the Quebec Conference really is strong, and so you have someone like that who played top minutes there and comes right in. And before the season, I asked her, did seeing Katya Clermont-Haydra make the jump from CIS to CWHL make you feel that you can do a little bit more in your rookie year? And she said that, and you could see she's a great skater, and that's something that Montreal, they like to build their offense from the back, and Poudrier and Fouracres both have that ability.
Is it just me, and I want to hear from both of you guys here, does Charlene Labonte seem a little bit off today?
A little bit. I said it to myself a little bit. I think there was a shot after the first goal went in, it kind of went off her blocker and kind of handcuffed her a little bit, and that's very un-Labonte-like, at this point in the season. I mean, she's only played 2 games in the season. They have a week off between games. It's not easy, especially when a team comes out firing like that. And then in the second period, she only has to face 2 shots. It's a struggle for her, and but I think that she kind of settled in after that first goal. And but I mean, it's a long season. Obviously, she's one of the best goaltenders in the WHL.
Speaking of goaltenders,
and I agree with Jared's assessment. The first goal was a rocket. She was coming left to right, and the shot came back to her left. That's a tough stop for any goaltender to make, especially once you start committing down to the butterfly, because you're not expecting the shot to come up where it ended up going in the back of the cage. Jared is right. There was that shot coming off of the right side that she blockered a little awkwardly, but I think since then she's found her groove, and it's a small sample size, as we mentioned off the top of the broadcast. It's only the third game of the season. The big thing is I look at the save percentage more than anything else. At .925, it's right in her wheelhouse. So I think that even tonight, you're looking at she's made 6 of 7 saves. You're staying in the same percentage as always.
So we mentioned this a little bit earlier in the broadcast, John, but I'm curious what Jared has to say about the trade from this summer when the Queen of Saves, Genevieve Lacasse, heads over to the Calgary Inferno, who also draft Emirates Mashmeyer. I mean, that's terrifying.
But actually, Robin, if I can jump in for a second, she's going to see a lot less rubber than she did when she was in Boston.
She won't face 1,000+ like she did last year.
Well, I mean, the person who you really have to feel for in this situation is Delaney Bryan. I mean, her last game that she played was a Clarkson Cup when she was the MVP at the Clarkson Cup, and she comes back this year, and not only one Team Canada goaltender, but two Team Canada goaltenders in front of her. It must be disheartening for her, but obviously the advantage from a Montreal standpoint is that Calgary can only play one of them at a time. So, yes, they got two great goalies, but whether it's Mashmeyer or Lacasse, there's not too much difference, and they might even feel necessary more to kind of play the hot hand or split the duties, so it kind of makes things a little bit different.
And how much, Jared, do you think that the fact that being centered in Calgary where the national team program is and being exposed to the coaches and the leadership of Team Canada, that played a part in the trade?
I think it did. I mean, I think the reason that came up was that she had career opportunities there. She has family there. So, I mean, that's obviously a thing, like players who want to come back to Montreal to play at home. So it's kind of an advantage for Calgary being the only team that's kind of west of Toronto, and obviously where the Team Canada camp is. So that's obviously an inherent advantage of their ability to get players.
It's also important to note that next year is an Olympic year, so a lot of these Team Canada players won't be playing in the CWHL. And during the Sochi Olympic year, Delaney Bryan was named Goalie of the Year in the CWHL, so she may still get another chance yet to play for Calgary and play well.
Most definitely. So we've got just a moment before we start the third period. Jared, final thoughts. I'd like to get your thought on Brampton. Bit of a slow start, but that team's loaded.
Yeah, Brampton is a good team. I don't think we should get too disheartened from where we are in the standings because of who they played. They played Montreal, they played Calgary. Those are two expect to be the top two teams. I think it's going to be a very interesting game to see them face Toronto, and I think that's going to be a lot closer than it was last year.
Well, Jared Book, thank you very much from the Habs Eyes on the Prize. Thank you for stopping by in this second intermission.
My pleasure.
So, as we get set to set up the third period of tonight's game, we'd like to remind you that CWHL Live is empowered by Hilberg and Burke, our new title sponsors this year, Robin, for the CWHL Live.
Yep, longtime supporter and champion of Canada's incredible female athletes, not only on the ice but off the ice as well. So we're super happy to have them on board with CWHL Live this season.
So 1-1 as we start the third period. We skate five-a-side. Montreal skating right to left. Poulin, Deschênes, and Bette up front. So you notice that Deschênes is back on the number one line right now to start the third period. Chu and Chartrand on the back end. It's Cava, Spooner, and Cohen-Chuck for Toronto, with Ambrose and Fast on the blue line. So off the opening face-off, the puck rolls right into Charlene Labonte, and she will settle it there for Cathy Chartrand, who will come over to the right side, pass in behind Kim Deschênes. She had to put her brakes on. And Spooner comes up with a puck. Spooner centering pass for Cava is broken up by Chu. Goes off of the stick of Deschênes out to center. Spooner tips it ahead, but Poulin back to play it for Montreal. Ahead on the right side for Bette. She'll rim it around the boards to the near corner. Deschênes gives chase, but the puck will be knocked down as Poulin comes up with it. Ambrose tried to play it away from Deschênes. Here's Poulin with the steal. Gives it to Chu with a shot from the right point that did not miss by much as it rolled up off of the blocker of Kessler.
There's a little beef Wellington behind that shot, I would say.
Here is Spooner. Out to center, 1-on-3 for the Furies. She goes right to left, and Julie Chu just gets enough hip on her to slow her down, and that allows the rest of the Canadiennes to come back. Campbell with a slap shot from the point, knocked the stick right out of the hands of Kim Deschênes, but Katia Clément-Aydra will send the puck down the ice, and that allows the Canadiennes to get a line change. Minute and 15 gone by in the third period. 1-1 is the score in the hockey game. Clément-Aydra plays it ahead as Saunders has it for Toronto. Far side for Prévost. Here's a steal as Lafleur has it. Lafleur on the second line now with Ouellette and Clément-Aydra. Lafleur down low for Clément-Aydra. She'll come back out to the top of the left wing faceoff circle. Spins away from Saunders. As the puck is locked up in a scrum along the near boards, and Saunders comes up with it. She'll feather it to Campbell on the far side. Bank pass off the boards to Prévost. Prévost hits Terry in the skates with a clearing pass, And Montreal could not capitalize on that one. Here is Ouellette on the left wing side, battling with Fulton. Ouellette just uses her strength to power it into the corner. Here is Lafar, backhand pass for Ouellette near side. That didn't connect. As Saunders fans on the clearing attempt, it'll be clear to the line, and Marin cannot keep it in as she took it pretty much halfway across the ice before it rolled off her stick.
Interesting. We're seeing a little bit of line juggling here, some different combinations that Danny Brunet is using in the third, which should be difficult for Toronto to maintain what their game plan was against Montreal.
The puck hits the glass and stays in play as Allen has it, centering pass. Good stick check in front. Here's a shot by Molson, and the blocker stopped by Levante as she was down to the butterfly. Good save there, maybe her best stop of the night, as Bro comes up with a stick of Allen, and that allows a counterattack of a 4-on-3 for the Canadiennes. But Stewart knocks the puck down just inside her own blue line. Bro keeps it in. Amar plays it in deep, and now Cava comes over to the near side for Shannon Molson. Bank pass off the near boards to Allen, who had the puck roll off her stick to Brittany Fouracres, who plays it in deep as the Canadiens go for a line change. The number one unit out there again. Here's Poulin with a steal. Poulin cuts across the green to the left wing side. Poulin has it, settling it into the slot. She is hooked to the ice, and a penalty coming up here to Toronto. The extra attacker coming on as the slap shot comes in from the right point by Julie Chu, and Kessler makes a save.
Well, that's the kind of penalty that you would call a good penalty, because the work that you just saw there from Marie-Philippe Poulin as she was going in, if you didn't take that penalty, she was scoring on Kessler. There was no way that wasn't going in.
She had the momentum and Kessler down. You're right, Robin. And that was a great opportunity as Shannon Molson just had to get the hook out on her to slow her down enough to take away the scoring chance. The Canadiens go to their third power play of the game, 0-for-2 on the night. It's Deschênes, Bette, and Poulin up front. Chu and Ouellette on the backhand as Caro has it at the right point. Dishes to Poulin. Poulin gives it over to the left side for Chu. Chu looking for Ouellette. She goes cross ice. Ouellette hits the side of the net. A big blast that just hit the side of the cage. And Cohenchuk will play the puck deep into Montreal territory. 30 seconds gone by here in this power play. We're knotted up at 1 apiece. 16:15 to go in the third period. As Bette has it into the offensive zone. Bette tried to drop it back for Ouellette, but it's intercepted by Cohenchuk. She's got Spooner away on the right side. A lead pass out of her reach as Julie Chu will skate back. The puck bounces over the stick of Charlie Labonte, and Spooner does come up with it in the offensive zone. Here's Ouellette seeking refuge behind her own cage with 1:10 to go in the power play. She'll wait for a new power play trio to come over the boards. Now she will leave the puck there for Cathy Chartrand as Ouellette will go to the bench herself. Chartrand right side for Noémie Marin. Puck knocked away from her by Jess Vella, and Campbell will send the puck deep into Montreal territory. Cathy Chartrand behind the net to Katia Clément-Edra. Vella flushes her out far side, then skates back, forces her back out the near wing. 40 seconds to go in the power play. The Canadiens have not had a lot of chances here with this advantage.
No, and you're seeing Danny Brunet trying all kinds of different combinations, trying to get something going. With now he's got Clément-Edra with Aymard and Sarah Lafleur out there, Cathy Chartrand.
There's a steal by Prévost as she lifts the stick of Lafleur just inside the blue line, and she comes up with it. Prévost with it. She's got Allen, left side, gives it to her. Allen in, shoots it over the crossbar. 10 seconds to go on the power play for the Canadiens. Here's Karel Aymard. Aymard skates it out to center, tries to get away from Prévost. She does, and will take it to the near half boards. Ambrose back for Toronto. Marin with it behind the net. Marin looking for a player in front. Soft centering pass intercepted by Ambrose. And away at center. Here's Cava. Cava on the right side. She's got Chu to beat. Backhand pass in front intended for Prévost. Was in behind her, and Sophie Bro has it. She'll play it over to the near side. Out of the reach of Chu. Pinching in from the right point position was fast. And Julie Chu has it. The veteran of 3 Olympics for Team USA out there on the blue line. Spooner runs into Chu, and Peroff will play it over to the near side, but it hits the skate of Cava and goes in deep. Here's Cohenchuk in the right wing corner. Knocked down in the corner by Peroff. Spooner taken to the wall now, and the puck is locked up long enough to get a whistle with 13:55 to go in regulation time.
I really like the work that I've seen from Julie Chu in this game. She does such a great job of just getting in people's way when they have scoring chances. And it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's Prevost or Fulton or Spooner. She's always there, and she's always creating havoc. And she always does it in a clean fashion. Very rarely does Julie Chu find herself in the penalty box. She's somebody who is able to get under your skin and tie you up and get the puck off your stick without doing anything illegal, which is the beauty of Julie Chu's hockey game.
Poulin out there with Deschênes and Bette. As Fast has it, and she will rim the puck into the offensive zone. Poudrier leaves it there for Rougeau on the near side. Ahead for Deschênes. She'll skate it out to center, tips it ahead for Poulin. Poulin gets around Ambrose, but the puck is picked off there by Fast. She comes over to the near boards. Kelly Terry battling with Poulin on the near side. And Kim Deschênes now comes to the wall. Bette has it for the Canadiennes. Poulin calls for the puck. Pass was just out of her reach, and she will go hard to the far wall with Ambrose. Here's Poudrier pinching in, gives it to Deschênes, tries to go back for Poudrier, and it's intercepted. Here's Prevost out to center, and the Canadiens almost get caught with too many players on the ice as Clément Aydra was the player that jumped on and played it. Deschênes with a slap shot from the left point position as the rest of the Canadiens go for a line change. Here's Clément Aydra, into the slot, Lafar with a shot, and a nice save there by Kessler. She sneaks out the right pad to keep this game tied at 1.
Rookie Sarah Lafleur already has 2 goals on the season. This is just her 3rd game. She hasn't scored yet, so I'm wondering what's up with Sarah Lafleur. Is it a different line combination?
Should we be calling her Austin Matthews?
Oh my goodness. I don't think we're quite there yet.
I don't know. That's a pretty good point per game clip.
Yeah. I think Austin Matthews is operating at a bit of a higher one right now. Those 4 goals in his first game really helped him.
Didn't help his team.
No, that's the most Leafs thing ever, though.
Okay, thank you.
I enjoyed watching it.
I enjoyed last Saturday night better. Here is Campbell on the right wing side. She winds, fires it off the blocker of Labonte. Allen plays it in deep. Campbell goes after it. Go with it. She's knocked down behind the net. She'll play it to Lafleur on the near side, but Vela picks her pocket and takes it into the right wing corner. Behind the net she goes. Comes out the far side. And she will play it in deep for Allen as Molson was the only player on the blue line there as Fast comes over the boards, and she opted to play it safely in deep as opposed to risk an interception in a one-on-one back the other way. Spataro into the offensive zone, loses the puck, and here is Sarah Lafleur at the center. She has the puck stolen from her on the near side by Kohenchuk, and Fouracres has it in her own zone, gives it to Cathy Chartrand. 11:50 to go in regulation time. We're tied at 1. Here's Emar with Marin going towards the goal. The pass was just out of her reach. Chartrand with a slap shot kick save Kessler. Ambrose, far side, has her stick lifted there by Emar. And Kohenchuk will get it to the blue line, but not out. Cava in her own zone, backhands it to the far side. Kohenchuk now will get it out to center. Off of the skates of Spooner. She kicks it ahead and brings it in on the left wing side. Spooner driving towards the goal. Sharp angle shot stopped by Labonte. Rebound, and the second shot by Cava goes wide.
Man, Natalie Spooner is fast.
Spooner with a centering pass for Cava. Chartrand goes low to block it. Cava still has it, though. Cava backhand pass in front. Kohenchuk with a shot that may have been deflected by Chartrand out the near side. And now Spooner jumps on a player, and Chartrand comes in, knocks her to the ice. And I'm wondering if we might get some offsetting penalties here. That's not something we're used to seeing in the CWHL.
No, and there seems to be no love lost between these two teams. As I mentioned at the end of the second period, that things were starting to get a little heated with that penalty that Molson took. She was not happy with the refs on that call. And Natalie Spooner looks really irritated right now as she's discussing things with the officials.
And it may be because she may be heading to the penalty box here. But I do think that they might be offsetting penalties. Spooner's going to go to the box for Toronto. And I wonder if Montreal's getting a penalty or not. Thought maybe Emmanuel Blais might get one.
Now they're opening the door to the penalty box.
It's going to be Cathy Chartrand, of course, who came in and pushed Spooner to the ice. Nobody with a real advantage on that trade-off there because those are two impact players going to the penalty box here.
No.
At 11:01.
You know, I thought, John, that I would really miss seeing Corey Chevry on the Toronto Furies. She spent a great deal of time up on that top line playing with Natalie Spooner. She went off to pursue coaching opportunities, I believe, at Ryerson.
Yes.
But I'm really not missing her presence, and that's not to denigrate her play. It just speaks to the depth that Toronto has acquired in this offseason and how good their offense has become.
Well, definitely, but Shivery was definitely an impact player for the Furies the last several years.
She was fun to watch.
So we're going to skate 4-on-4 here for the next 2 minutes as Poudrier has the puck in behind her own net. Spooner in the penalty box for Toronto. Chartrand in the sin bin for Montreal. Here's Poulin in the offensive zone. Bette out there with her. Here's Poudrier into the slot. Can't get the shot away cleanly as it rolls wide to the near side. Kelly Terry leaves it there for Ambrose, who will go behind the net for Fast. Renata Fast up the near side for Kelly Terry. Head full of steam at center. Bette giving chase. Prevost out there as well for Toronto. A centering pass is knocked down, and Poulin will clear it to the line. Intercepted by Fast. She plays it to the half boards, right to the stick of Poulin. She's got Rougeau with her. As Willette now joins the rush. Camo up the middle to the goal. Glove save by Kessler.
Wow, what a move from Christina Kessler, getting that mitt up and giving no chance to Carolyn Willette on a breakaway.
That was innocent enough until the pass came between the D, and Willette got that snapshot off. But a great save by Kessler to keep this game tied with 10-11 to go in the third period. Still 4 aside for a minute 10. Here's Julie Chu with a wrist shot. And Kessler down to the butterfly to make the stop. And now she's starting to get to see a little bit more action in front of her.
If anything, the advantage right now to Montreal is because they have this open ice and they're so good at 4-on-4 hockey at finding those open spaces. Carolyn Willette finding a space, Julie Chu getting a shot off, and that's definitely one of their strengths.
Chu to 4 acres. Her shot goes off of Campbell to the far corner. Willette with it. A minute to go in this 4-on-4 situation. Katia Clément gets wrapped up with the official. She takes the pass from Willette, tries to spin a backhand shot on goal, but it's intercepted there by Shannon Molson. Jess Vela up the left side for Toronto. Plays it in deep. Labonte will leave it in the, will stay in the trapezoid and let her blue liner, Julie Chu, play it out to center. Willette in neutral ice, slams the brakes on, plays it back to Chu. Willette battling along the near boards with Cohenchuk, as is Katia Clément. 30 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. Still tied at 1. 9:30 to go in regulation time. Here is Chu in her own zone, settling things down as the Canadiens will change up this 4-on-4 attack. Chu up the right side for Emmanuel Blais. She has Imar with her. Blais on the right side takes the shot, goes wide of the target. Sophie Bro, fresh set of legs on, as well as Poudrier, as Fulton has it for Toronto. Fulton goes behind the net. Ambrose, the rear guard on the right side, and Fast on the far side, as now we are back to 5 aside. Pass up left side. Fulton has to take it over to the near side. Her pass hits Terry in the back of the leg, and that prevented Toronto from going on a rush. Here is Poudrier in on the right wing side. Loses a handle on the puck, and Toronto will clear it deep into Montreal territory with 8:30 to go in regulation time. Sophie Bro plays it off of the referee. Cava with a centering pass. Blocker save there by Labonte as Spooner just tipped it in on goal. Here's another chance for Cava into the slot. Cava from her knees. Couldn't get the shot away. And here is Noémie Marin. Marin left wing side. 3-on-3. Chartrand jumps into the rush. Centering pass hits the skate of Campbell and pinballs out to center. Marie-Philippe Poulin, the captain for the Canadiens, gives it to the former captain, Cathy Chartrand. She'll bring it in the offensive zone. Has her pocket picked by Cohenchuk, but the Canadiens keep it onside. Poulin brings it back out to center. Gives it to Bette. Right side. She'll rifle in behind the net. Puck rolls over to the near side. Kim Deschamps fans on the centering attempt. And Campbell will clear it ahead for Spooner. Spooner tries to split a trio of Canadiens players as Julie Chu knocks her down to the ice. No call on the play there, as this is becoming a very physical contest. Chartrand ahead for Bette. She's got Deschamps on the right side, but she gets it to Marie-Philippe Poulin. Back to Bette. To Poulin, driving the goal. Tries to go sharp, short angle side. And Ambrose gets her stick down to intercept. 7:20 left in regulation time. Still 1-1. Here's Bette leaving it for Deschamps. Deschamps centering pass goes off of Spataro. Ambrose now in the corner with Katia Clément Edra. As again, the Canadiens getting an opportunity to change things up here. Spooner Head to center. That is Spataro. Poudrier back to play it for Les Canadiennes. As Rougeau plays it ahead, left side, Lafar, cross-ice pass for Ouellette, broken up by Campbell just outside of the Toronto blue line. And here's Allen on the counter-attack, 1-on-3. They should make it 1-on-5 now, as Les Canadiennes got back. Here's Lafar sidestepping a check. She's got Ouellette with her. Lafar in, shoots, stop, rebound! Lafar corrals it, backhand shot! And that didn't quite get through. Here is Campbell in her own zone. Ahead to Jess Vella. She'll tip it out to center. 6:30 to go in regulation time. 1-1 the score. A highly entertaining hockey game here at the Centre Étienne des Marteaux this evening.
Lots of chances being exchanged back and forth. Really physical game, as you mentioned earlier, especially Natalie Spooner.
Here's Fulton in. Fulton tries to power it to the front of the goal, but Bo seals her off. And back the other way is Lafar. Lafar's probably going to go for a line change. She's been out there for a little while. As Terry has it. The fast over to the right side for Ambrose. Ambrose ahead for Kelly Terry, and she will play it in deep as Toronto changes up their blue liners. Prévost on the forecheck. Here's Fulton. Fulton tries to come out in front, but a good stick check there by Fouracres. Plays the puck back in deep. On the right side, Emmanuel Blais. Blais 3-on-2 developing for the Canadiens, but she overskated the puck just inside the blue line. And here's a steal, and Spooner's away at center on the right wing side. Natalie Spooner in. Spooner goes wide, wrist shot. Stopped by Levante, as Chartrand is now out there pretty much every shift against Natalie Spooner late in this hockey game as we are tied at 1. Emmanuel Blais battling on the far side. Spooner knocks down Fouracres. As a centering pass for Cava. Had her stick lifted there by Poulin. And here comes Poulin on the right wing side. She's got fast to beat. Poulin cuts inside. Poulin scores! Marie-Philippe Poulin, her second of the game, and it's 2-1 for the Canadiens. What a great goal.
Look at her out-skating pass. Totally taking that puck on her stick, going around fast behind her. She didn't know what to do, and that shot just beats Kessler, who was down, didn't know what was coming. I would add that to a Marie-Philippe Poulin highlight as one of the most Poulin goals that you will ever see in this hockey league.
Poulin is third of the season.
That's another $2 going to the Montreal Canadiens Children's Foundation from yours truly.
And the 5-hole goal makes it 2-1 for Les Canadiens with 5 minutes to go in regulation time. And that gets the wave going here at the Centre Étienne des Marteaux. Bette with a steal. Bette curls into the slot. Wrist shot. Kessler with a center rebound. It's knocked aside. Here is Chu. Back to the right point. Chartrand with a slap shot. And Kessler makes the save. And then Deschênes starts pushing players around in front of the net. Boy, this sets up tomorrow's rematch.
Yeah, Aaron Ambrose and Kim Deschênes going at it. Tomorrow is going to be one nasty affair. And there's still a lot of hockey left to be played today. We've got just under 5 minutes to play, and it's still a one-goal game.
Definitely. Where I'm going with this is that there's still another game to play in this weekend set. And, of course, Chartrand and Spooner have had a battle out there ongoing for the last period or so.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow afternoon. 1:30 start here at Étienne des Marteaux Arena on Bellechasse in Rosemont. If you want to come on down, we'd love to have you.
Fast keeps the puck in at the blue line onside. Katia Clément-Edra has the puck, starting the rush up over, skates it just inside her own blue line. Here's Fulton with the steal. Fulton cuts it, shoots, and Levante makes the save with 4:17 to go in the third period.
Not Katia Clément-Edra's finest moment of the game, as she sort of seemed to bobble that puck in between her skates and gave it up to Fulton, who scored Toronto's only goal in this game and gave her a beautiful opportunity on Charlene Levante. Hits her right in the chest, though, as Levante was perfectly positioned for that one.
Poulin from Aymar at 14:52 of this third period gives Les Canadiens the 2-1 lead. Montreal shooting Toronto 9-1 here in this third period. Chu on the right side for Bette. Ahead for Poulin. She has Deschênes on her left and Bette behind her. Here's Poulin looking, dishes off, left point, Chartrand wrist shot. That went through. The big rebound in front is corralled by Saunders. She'll play it to the blue line, and it gets past Chartrand, who spin and fires it in deep. Just under 4 to go in regulation time. Still 2-1 for Les Canadiens. As Poulin has a pair tonight, and now a penalty coming up to Shannon Molson, her second of the hockey game, as she trips, or third of the game, excuse me, as she trips up and Sophie Bette in the offensive zone.
Yeah, she had that first one was the one that she was sort of whining about there at the end of the first period, and then that second one was one that she drew. Marie-Philippe Poulin drew. You had to take that penalty, did Shannon Molson. Otherwise, Marie-Philippe Poulin was going to score, and this would be a hat-trick game for the captain.
So the Canadiens go to the power play. 3:41 to go in regulation time. Molson in the box. Let's set up the power play as we face off to the left of Kessler. Katia Clément-Aydra, Noémie Marin, Lefort on the right side, Chartrand and Emma on the blue line. Fast out there on the blue line with Erin Ambrose, Kelly Terry, and Prevost out there for the Furies. Here's Chartrand at the right point. Her shot right into the paraphernalia of Terry. Good block there as Lefort has it. Lefort on the left wing side. Back to the line for Chartrand. Chartrand dishes to Imar. Left side for Lefort. 3:18 to go in the third period. 2-1 the Canadian lead. Chartrand back pass. Imar. Backdoor Lefort and a great stop there. Going down and blocking it was Kessler. Now a wraparound attempt by Marin is stopped as Kelly Terry has it behind the net. She's bodied into the boards by Katia Clément-Aydra, but she continues fighting for the puck, clears of the blue line. Chartrand knocks it down. The Canadiens going for a line change here with 1:10 to go in the power play. And 2:50 to go in regulation time. And a good job there by Erin Ambrose to read the play as she hammers the puck down the ice. Minute left in the power play for the Canadiens, looking to put this game out of reach. Up 2-1 with 2:30 to go in regulation time. Here's Korachuk with a steal, short-handed, going towards the goal. She slams the brakes on, now spins and fires and puts it just wide of the far post.
Great work there from Julie Chu.
Bette ahead for Poulin. Poulin in on the left wing side. She'll take it in deep. 40 seconds to go in the power play. Deschênes joins her in the corner. Deschênes to Bette. Behind the net she goes. She spins away from Saunders. Nice move to protect the puck. Back to the line it goes for Ouellette. Ouellette to Bette. Puck rolls under her stick over to the near side. Julie Chu pinches. And here's Natalie Spooner with the steal. Spooner gets around Ouellette. It's a 2-on-2. Spooner on the forehand takes the wrist shot, and it goes off of Marie-Philippe Poulin to the near side. 14 seconds to go in the Toronto penalty kill. 1:50 to go in regulation time. Les Canadiens leading by 1.
Just remember, after the game, I'm going to be speaking to the player of the game, so stay tuned after time expires.
Bette with the puck in the offensive zone. $1:30 to go in regulation time. Laurent Rougeau now in the scrum. Looks like a rugby match here late in regulation time. Imar with it. She has Perhoff in front of the goal. Imar overskates the puck as Perhoff has it. 1:25 to go in the third period. The Canadiens in protect mode in the offensive zone. Poudrier, left point for Rougeau. Wrist shot through traffic, goes wide of the cage. Prevost with it. Can't get it out as Poudrier sealed her off before she could get her stick on the puck. Here's Imar to Perhoff. It's the goal post. A great chance for the Canadiens to bury the game as Jordana Perhoff just tipped it off the post. 60 seconds to go in regulation time. 2-1. Here's Poudrier, right side. She'll roll it in deep. The number 1 unit coming over the board for Les Canadiens. Here's Chartrand. She'll play it back in deep. Ouellette on the forecheck. Back to play it for Toronto. Renetta Fast. Up the near side for Jess Villa. Chartrand sealing her off at the blue line. Poulin and Bette out there with Ouellette. Chartrand and Julie Chu here. 30 seconds to go in regulation time. Toronto looking for one last rush to try and tie this game up. Prevost on the near side, battling with Ouellette. To the blue line, she got it. Bette steals. Bette ahead to Poulin with the empty net. She fanned on the shot. Spooner now with it. 15 seconds to go. Campbell behind her own net. Bette with it. Bette takes it into the far corner, ragging time off the clock. 10 seconds to go. Here's Ouellette. The Canadiens just looking to protect the puck, and the lead is time winding down. 5 seconds to go in the hockey game. And the Canadiens improve to 3-0, extending their home ice winning streak to 13 games, beating Toronto 2-1 on a pair of goals by Marie-Philippe Poulin. Wow, Robin, what a finish to this hockey game.
What a finish to this hockey game indeed, John. Seeing that home winning streak extended to 13 games in a row for Montreal all of last season and all of this season thus far also means, though, that Toronto's winning streak is over. They are no longer an undefeated team. They are now 2-1 on the season.
It was a very entertaining hockey game here this evening. Played in get this, 1 hour and 54 minutes.
Wow, that was fast.
It was a very, very entertaining hockey game. The Canadiennes win their first game at home this season over the Furies, and they will meet the Furies tomorrow afternoon here at 1:30.
You know, I'm really excited to see what happens in tomorrow's contest, John. That 1:30 start right back here at Etienne Desmarteau Arena in Rosemont. After seeing sort of the bad blood on the ice between these two teams, definitely no love lost. I'm wondering, is it going to be as chippy an affair? Is it going to be even chippier? What are we going to expect from Natalie Spooner, who's probably not happy with her team and herself right now?
And you talk about that, Robin. One of the things that I love in this league is the compete level. These women are out here to win every shift.
Yeah, they're definitely out there to play every single shift. And what an amazing game from Toronto. I'm really impressed with the level of play that we've seen from them. You know, we spoke earlier before the game about the jump that the Boston Blades took this offseason to become a better hockey team. But we really also saw that from the Toronto Furies. This team looks so much better than they did when we last saw them when they were swept by the Canadiennes in the semifinals last season. They've definitely made some adjustments, and they're going to be very competitive in this hockey league this season.
So it's time now for the 3 stars of today's game. And the third star in tonight's game is Julie Chu, who played very effectively on the back end.
That she did. She had an amazing couple of opportunities where she was able to break up a play.
And the second star, Natalie Spooner from Toronto, had a very solid game. And I think without any doubt, the first star will be Marie-Philippe Poulin.
And that's who I'll be speaking to in just a few moments, John. I know we spoke after the second period, but I figured, why not? She scored the game winner as well as the one that tied it up here in Montreal. So we'll speak to the game's first star, Marie-Philippe Poulin, in just a few moments.
And we can actually ask her to walk us through the goal that she scored to win the hockey game for the Canadiens tonight, as we do have a replay of it queued up and ready to go for us, as the Canadiens, they salute their faithful here. Another very, very large crowd. The upper balcony was 90% full this evening for another great game here at the Centre Etienne Desmarteau. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon, a 1:30 start, will be also the Skate with Les Canadiennes game here at the Centre Etienne Desmarteau. And while we're waiting for Marie-Philippe Poulin to come over for the player of the game interview, we'll recap the scoring. It was open at 6:11 of the first period. Emily Fulton, her first of the season from Caroline Prévost, and that was where we stood after 20 minutes of play. Shots on goal in the first period, 5-5. In the second period, Marie-Philippe Poulin scored her second of the season, first of the hockey game from Chartrand and Chu at the 29-second mark. The Canadiens outshot the Fury 6-3 in that second period to give them 11 on the hockey game and the Furies 8. In the third period, the Canadiens dominated, outshooting Toronto 9-2 for a game total of 20-10. But it came down to the last 5 minutes of regulation time to determine who would come away as the winner, as Marie-Philippe Poulin takes a lead pass up the right side from Karel Imar for her third of the season, as she snipes it through the 5-hole of the netminder, Christina Kessler, who takes the loss in the hockey game. Her first loss of the season, she falls to 1-1. Charlene Labonte goes to 3-0 on the campaign, as the Canadiens also improve to 3-0. So we're just waiting for, as you can see, Marie-Philippe Poulin getting ready to chat with Robin Flynn again. And Robin, let's send it down to you with the game's first star.
Thanks very much, John. I am indeed here with the game's first star, Marie-Philippe Poulin, who scored the second goal of the game and the game winner. Tell us what led to that goal.
I mean, it was a great play. We got stuck in our zone a little bit, and Karel Imar made an unbelievable play. She dove, and she gave it to me, and lucky enough, I cut to the middle, and it went in. I think it was a great play. That's why I know the zone first.
You know, you promised me I wasn't going to have to spend too much money this season, and I'm already starting to sweat a little bit. How many are you going to average 2 goals a game all season?
I'm not sure about that. It was a good start. I think we're really excited to play in front of our fans. I think we knew it wasn't going to be easy, but we came out in the third really hard. We wanted to come back with a win in front of our crowd for sure.
Sarah LaFour spent some time playing on that top line with you guys tonight. She was on the second line in the first 2 games. How are you guys gelling? I know you've played together previously, but how is it working with Montreal?
It's going well. I think it's an adjustment. I think we haven't played together for last year. I think we just got to get back together. I think she's a great player. She's been adjusting really well to our new league. So I think we're really lucky to have her on our team, and hopefully I will play together in the next couple games.
And what about the rest of the rookies on that back end? Cassandra Coudray, she really had a heck of a game.
Oh, for sure. I think we've really had some great players to our roster, and Cass is one of a great D on the blue line there, and she brings a lot of poise, a lot of maturity, and I think we're really lucky to have her on our team.
Thanks very much. Congrats.
Hey, Robin, before you let
hang on a sec. John has a question for you.
If you could ask this question, what did she see from the Toronto Blue Liners of Fast and I'm drawing a blank here, Fast and Ambrose?
Yeah, he was curious about what you saw from Fast and Ambrose, who are also part of the national team program, and they also played really well for Toronto tonight.
Oh, yeah, well, I know that they're great D, and I watched them playing at Clarkson, and for them to come back to our league this year, I think it's a really add to Toronto and to the league. I think they're great back there, and every time I see them on the ice, I know I got to pick up my game because they're really hard to play against. So I'm really happy for them to be on that team and to play in our league.
All right, thanks. Have a good game tomorrow.
Thank you.
Back to you, John.
Thank you very much, Robin Flynn and Marie-Philippe Poulin. Much deserved first start in tonight's hockey game. Let's once again do the final recap of the scoring summary in tonight's hockey game. Prévost scores at, Fulton scores from Prévost at 6:11 of the first period. Marie-Philippe Poulin from Chartrand at Chew responds to even the game up at the 29-second mark of the second period, and then at 14:52, Poulin takes the pass from Karel Imar to win it for the Canadiennes, who improved to 3-0 on the season. Toronto falls to 2-1. No team scored on the power play tonight. The Furies were 0-for-3. The Canadiennes 0-for-4 on the hockey game. So that will do it for this installment of CWHL Live. A reminder that our next broadcast on CWHLlive.com comes your way next Saturday night at 8 o'clock when the Brampton Thunder provide the opposition against the Toronto Furies, live from the MasterCard Center in Toronto. Join Nico Cardarelli for all the play-by-play action beginning just before 8 o'clock next Saturday night. The final score tonight from the Centre Étienne Desmarteaux in Montreal. Les Canadiennes de Montréal defeat the Toronto Furies 2-1 to improve to 3-0 on the season. This has been CWHL Live, empowered by Hilberg and Burke. And we invite you to join us all season long for free broadcasts here on CWHL Live. On behalf of Robin Flynn and our entire ISI Global crew here in Montreal, who helped with the production, this is John Bauer bidding you so long from the Centre Étienne Desmarteaux in Montreal.
When I was 7, I wore these gloves. They held this stick. Well, these skates carried me over the blue line. We won the championship, and now it's all yours. Cool. Oh, and this mouth guard. I'll get my own. Thanks.
The 5th season is when spirit for the game gets passed down. That's why we're proud to support over 5,000 teams.
Kimmy, you do know that there's only 4 seasons, right?
Then how do you explain the way kids wish away the summer because we can't wait to play in the fall? Or how teammates often become best mates? Or how families happily vacation in Winnipeg in January because that's where the tournament is? So you see, Miss Woods, there is a 5th season, and it's the best season in Canada.
So you're talking about hockey.
Oh, it's more than just hockey, Miss Woods.
Scotiabank is proud to support over 5,000 teams in Canada's 5th season.